Yamato, bro. Did you see that fat W? Emphasis on fat W that Yamato got this week. It's finally doing something.
Yeah. I mean, I did ask for Kawamatsu, and we got Kawamatsu, but I'm not mad at him coming second place to what Sukune? Wait, Sukune?
Yeah, Sukune.
Yokozuna Sukune. Big guy.
One letter away from the goat Sukuna from JJK.
Oh, you think they're twins?
Sukune and Sukuna? Sukuna could be like the third brother of the Urashima family.
Yeah, I mean, like Sukuna could be from this timeline, right? Like,
yeah, like old
from the
Japan.
land of Wano.
Yeah.
JJK never, like
he never
clarified.
Specified.
Yeah. He could be. There could be a mythical Soin Sukuna running around, bro.
yeah. You don't see it, but somewhere back there in the crowd, alongside Kawamatsu, is Sukuna from JJK with 4 arms, just crossing off. Finally, a worthy opponent. You've defeated my brothers.
Yeah. He doesn't care about Emu. No, doesn't care about Joy Boy. But yeah, I mean, technically, his fingers are like devil fruits, like a little bit low key.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Shout out to
what
JJK.
If that's what the devil fruits are? They're like the cut off limbs of like Joy Boy.
I mean, that could be it. Maybe it's like a Joy Boy, but they got knocked out like with Bonnie's devil fruit. You know, Bonnie, like she beats people and then boom, their memories. They turn into jewels and they just fly around. Maybe Joy Boy or the Nika god from like 3,000 years ago was the same way. Like they were like a manifestation of dreams and hopes. And then as people beat him, like fruits flew out. That'd be kind of fun. It's like a video game, right? Like Sonic. You beat Sonic and then boom, the rings fly out.
Yeah, the rings. Yeah. That'd be kind of crazy if you find out like Nika was just Sukuna. He's just...
No, dude, like, I mean... I wish Nika was just a hard hitter. Just like not even just like a strong character, but like just a really mean guy. Like imagine we get Nika, right? And then he's like, fuck you, Par.
Yeah.
No, like he breaks the fourth wall and just like throws the middle finger out and he's like, not to any character, but to you, the reader. Like,
it would be kind of like, because it would be like Yuji and Sukuna, they look the same. But like Sukuna is obviously a jerk, right? Compared to Yuji. Yuji's like this wholesome dude, and that'd be like Luffy versus Nika. Like, yeah, they look the same, and they maybe like have the same like, like the Black Flash. Like, they pull out the same stuff, but there's obviously a difference.
Oh, you mean Sukuna. The Reverse Flash?
Oh yeah, Reverse Flash.
Oh, you meant like Black Flash, as in the JJK attack move.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Reverse Flash, as in like the Flash from DC, and then Reverse Flash, the guy who like touches him at hyper speed to make him come during dates.
No, I said Black Flash, and I was like, I saw you gonna pull out like, was there a Black Flash?
No, I still think Black Flashes are really cool.
Yeah, Black Flash was really cool. Yeah. The Conquer hockey looking, but it had a cool
One Piece's
concept.
Influence, huh?
Yeah.
Definitely inspired by One Piece. I mean, the author of JJK and Oda, like they're friends, so it makes sense, right?
I think everyone has to be friends with Oda, right? It's like one of those things.
I mean, it's like a company thing too.
Yeah, you don't want to be the one mangaka that's like openly not friends with Oda, right? Like that'd be kind of bad.
Especially when you work in like the same area. It's like same area, same magazine, you walk down the same hallway. It'd be almost weird to like not be friends with everybody in the building.
Yeah, I feel like the real line, like, because no one's ever gonna be like, "Oh, I hate Oda." I'm not friends with Oda. That guy, they're not gonna ever do that. But I think the real line is if Oda says he got dinner with you in his like Oda notes. That's when it's like, oh, this is real. This is actually like they're actually friends.
Yeah,
Oda wouldn't
friends.
say that. Yeah, that's what it is.
So, if I'm recalling correctly, this is the first time we've ever seen Sukune, right?
We didn't know Urashima had a big brother. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I mean, he just hit him in the dark. Do you think Sukune's stronger than Urashima?
Oda did say big brother. It's probably one of those things that's like 1 centimeter 1 pound more. You know, like the birthday is just
I
one
mean,
day.
dude, look at Loki and Hajruden though. Hajruden's the big brother.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I forgot Oda flipped it on its head. He did.
Yeah.
Uh,
So all we know, like Sukune could be like the weakest man in Wano.
okay, I wouldn't go that far because you love Hajruden, so like that would be a crazy analogy to make here.
No, but hear me out. Hear me out. After losing, Sukune is going to lose that weight, and he's going to be in like prime time for like beating Yamato.
Wait a second. Is Sukune a part of Yamato's scabbards now?
Oh, stop.
This is the Odin thing. Everyone Odin beat thing. Like this.
I mean, even like the hand pose, right? That's very Odin coded.
Yeah, he gave, and now Sukune's this is his time. This is his redemption. And he has like that the speckled background because his younger brother was like a jerk, right? Like, so it's like he has to redeem his family name.
I don't think he has to. He just feels like a random sumo wrestler. You're putting the weight of the Urashima family on his shoulders. And it's like, I mean, is it even there weight for him? I don't know. We didn't know this guy even existed until like today.
I don't know the weight classes in sumo wrestling, but this is a heavy weight to be on Yamato's shoulders. You got to turn this around. Yeah.
Who came up with sumo wrestling, bro?
You know, that's a good point because I feel like sumo wrestling has to be like, okay, guys, like I apologize for offending any sumo wrestlers out there, but like sumo wrestlers, that's like ancient stuff, right? Like it's like I'm thinking like back in the day when we had coliseums in Rome, we had sumo wrestling on that side, right?
Yeah.
And you got to think how hard it was to be a sumo wrestler because like today it's easy to be obese, but like back then it was
you went out of your way to get fat, dude. Like you, and then plus like think about the economy. Like you had to pay a lot of money to eat that much.
You probably had to start off as a criminal. You probably had to eat like an entire village worth. Like you had to starve villages to get to this point. You know?
Yeah,
like
dude.
A village would look at the sumo wrestlers like, oh my god, my entire family lineage could have prospered if you just shared.
You'd be like a mythical monster of the night. Like, oh my god, like lock your doors, lock your fridges. Sukune's coming to town, guys. He's gonna eat all your food reserves.
Dude, Sukune is sounding more like Sukuna's brother. It's crazy.
Just an absolute menace. I mean, that was like one of the main memes coming off of Wano, right? Like when we first met Urashima. It's like, damn, like we met an entire town of starving poor people. And then here's Urashima, just like 50 times the size of everybody else.
Yeah, and he's just beating down on starving people like, haha, it's like
I'm the best sumo wrestler. Who wants to challenge me? You? Just points at like some 10-pound guy on the side.
That's crazy. And then unironically, like Luffy eats like a sumo wrestler, so there's that, but like he doesn't look it. So Urashima is really like, how did that fight get instigated? Did Luffy step in the ring or did Urashima step in the ring?
I believe it was because of Okiku, right?
Something. Okiku would have wiped his ass though, right? It was something.
But like, yeah, but like, you know, she didn't want to draw attention to herself because she's a scabbard.
Yeah.
So I believe that Urashima was being really pushy. And then Luffy was like, you there, quit that. And then they just have like a fun sumo wrestling contest. And then really obviously pushy, like Luffy, he went high diff against this guy, man. Holy crap. That was a 10-minute episode where they were just fighting, dude. You remember that?
I was gonna say, because I was anime only at the time.
I'm so sorry for you, man. That sounds awful.
that was because I'm pretty sure not too far after that was when Chapter 1000 came out, and then that was when I fully converted to like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. And I think I remember like that being one of the last episodes I ever saw, like for a long time.
Yeah, and for
like because I keep up, but
for context, anybody out there, like the Urashima versus Luffy fight, I joke and say it's like 10-20 minutes long, but in reality, it is like a one-panel thing that got stretched out to like 5 minutes, where Luffy and Urashima are just like doing this like back and forth, and it's like, bro, like in the manga, it was like no diff, but you know, in the anime, it's like, dude, Urashima was putting his weight in.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
felt
No,
like a Yokozuna.
it's not an exaggeration. You almost like I remember seeing like people clip it, and it seems like they're like clip chimping. It seems like they're editing it to make it seem longer. No, it's actually insane how long like it not only is but feels, because it's literally just like a PowerPoint thing sliding because there's like
Yeah.
and you just go back and forth between
That's why
Luffy's
One
face and
Piece is so
Urashima.
impressive.
Yeah, shout outs. I mean, that's where it's like, thank God the anime had like the hiatus, right? Because that's what they needed during Wano. They needed a hiatus to like put some more effort into the later parts. But yeah. I mean, I'm seeing you like, if you compared that episode versus what One Piece is right now, it wouldn't even seem like the same, like anything. The animators, directors, like it wouldn't even feel like the same show. It's crazy.
All they wanted was a little bit of a gap in between the manga, but brother, the answer is always right there. Every anime does it. Just add in filler. Add in a little filler arc, man.
Now that I think about it, it's also extremely comical because that Luffy gets one-shotted by Kaido, but the current Luffy like dances around, not dances, but like dances on Kaido's grave a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that Luffy that's struggling with Urashima is like a few beatdowns away from boxing with Kizaru, right? Like imagine Kizaru in the ring. Like what would happen? Oh man. If they
I
did,
think that just speaks very
like
highly about Urashima, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. It would make sense if Sukuna's the third brother, honestly, based off that episode.
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is, right? Like Luffy, he became that guy in like what, a week or something. Dude, imagine Urashima after a week of training. He could be like Frieza for all we know, right? Frieza's like, like I've never had to train before in my life, but now I will train for 1 month, and now I'm the strongest being in the world. And he's like Black Frieza. It's like, whoa. Like maybe we see Urashima and he comes back in and it's like Urashima Prime. Like Bro. After we see Sukune flying to the stands, you see just immense Conqueror's Haki busting out, and you're like, holy crap, is that Sukiyaki? No, it's Urashima.
The Sukiyaki mention.
Yeah, just gotta throw it in there.
Yo, Urashima, this goes back to the day-old question, right? Like, what would happen if he was trained by Rayleigh and Hyoguro, right? Like, Luffy had a mentor.
You're right. Just give... Okay, no, I'm genuinely curious. Like, give a character in One Piece those mentors. How will they turn out? And then if it's a swordsman, Mihawk. You know, because Zoro had Mihawk. You know, not everybody gets trained by the world's greatest swordsman. Dude, put Helmeppo in there.
How many characters come out of Mihawk's training with like actual Conqueror's Haki? Ooh, I wonder. That's a big question. Yeah. Does Mihawk have Conquerors? That is another question mark, right? If he had it, then why didn't Zoro come out with more proficiency?
What if we come to find out that Mihawk is like a Conqueror's Haki infuser? Like whoever trains with Mihawk just automatically gets Conqueror's Haki.
Mihawk gives Conquerors, that would be nuts.
No, like imagine like he deems you worthy, and that's like the qualifier. Like you hear, you know, you love like Chinese comics and mangas, but like, you know, in like some sort of like isekai level up series, you get like the notification, Conqueror's Haki requirement met.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like Conqueror's Haki requirement met. Like there's like check boxes. But then there's a special side quest, S rank, and it's Mihawk, mentorship under Mihawk.
and you know how those shows do it. Like it's gonna get like a special effect and everything on the text. Yeah. So you hear like Mihawk is he's like a crow guy, right? Or no, he's a hawk guy. So you'd be like, caw! And then you see hawks flying in the sky, and it's like, whoa, what's happening? And it says acknowledged by Mihawk, Conqueror's Haki. Acquired.
Yeah, instead of a blue box for like good thing, it's a purple box.
Yeah.
Ooh, mythical grade mission. Like
no, and then there's like a panel where like it's Mihawk's eye superimposed on your screen. It's like, whoa!
Oh,
he sees me.
Yeah. Oh, seen by Mihawk.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we're writing it, dude. We're writing the Mihawk
Dude.
Chinese manhwa. This is crazy.
We really could write like a mean Chinese comic. Like if we put our brains together, we really could just cook up a mean Chinese banger.
Yeah. Would we try to like bootleg One Piece just into like a...
Maybe, but we would like change a lot of beats though, right? We don't want to get like sued by Oda.
Yeah,
That would kind of suck.
It's just like instead of Luffy, it's Fully, right? Fully. He eats a lot, but he actually gets big.
Yeah, he becomes like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. And then we rip off Naruto too. His like in order to get stronger, he gets skinny, and every arc until he gets like he needs one last chicken wing or something to beat the final boss when he hits like maximum potential.
Funny, because when you said Naruto, I thought you were gonna say Kurama. Like, oh, like inside of Fuli's mind, there exists a dog. And that dog gives Fuli his powers. And then you could bring in Bleach and be like, and by the way, Fuli, he's mixed with every single race in humanity.
Oh, perfect. Fuli. When he gets full of eating every race.
Yeah. Just combine all the big three. That'd be so good.
I'm surprised that doesn't exist already.
I'm sure it does. I mean, there's like thousands of manga that come out daily that just get tossed to the wayside.
Yeah, but as YouTubers, we could push our things inorganically, right?
Yeah. Hey guys, check out me and Par's new Chinese comic about Fuli, a pirate ninja monster warrior, bred of all the races, who fights to become king of the ninjas.
King of the ninjas. Oh god. His final opponent, Zoro Roronoa.
Yeah.
We just
and he's a notorious ninja hunter.
Yeah, ninja.
Yeah, we changed it from pirate hunter to ninja hunter.
Bro, that's unironically
all the villains
amazing.
are straw hats, but like dark straw hats.
Dark Straw Hats is crazy. You're just a ninja hunter.
Watch out for Nico Robin, the librarian birder. Nico Robin, the arsonist. Frankie, the wood shop slop man.
The wood shop slop.
Yeah, like this version of Frankie doesn't believe in technology. All he does is make things out of wood.
Yeah, he dismantles everything. Computers, bye bye. Like Vegapunk slabs.
Chopper, the natural healer. And then he's like an anti-vax Chopper. Anti-vax Chopper, one of the main villains of Guitarist Island.
Dude, oh god, anti-vax Chopper. Like would he still sell drugs to Beppo in that light, or would he not? Like, I don't know.
No. Beppo comes to his doorstep, and Chopper's like, "Give it 5 days, and God will heal you." And then, Nami the fish fucker. No, in this timeline, Nami could be like Big Mom, but for fishmen.
What?
And Nami's like, "Go fight, family," and then you just see a school of fishmen fight for Nami. Dude, and then Sanji could be like, no, Sanji would be Luffy's or Fully's biggest opponent. Sanji would take away food from people. Oh my god.
Yeah, he'd be liposuction Sanji.
Yeah, liposuction Sanji. And then he's like what? The guy who comes in the middle of the night and just steals your food too.
Yeah.
Dude. This is it.
We got it. I think this is Write it down. Oh,
Jinbei. Oh, oppression Jinbei. He enslaves every race he sees.
Oppression Jinbei, would he still be as strong, or do we make him weak now?
Do we make him
like Vanderdecken?
I mean, I like to imagine all these characters are pretty strong. They're like entire island villains. What would Usopp be? Truthster Usopp?
We'd have to invert his nose, though. It'd have to be like wide.
Oh, he could be like Voldemort. He has no nose.
That's true. I feel
Ooh,
no, but I
and
like
he sucks in your lies.
Sucks in your lies. Wait, this is actually that's kind of
Yeah.
actually a good one.
Every time somebody lies, it just gets sucked into his empty nose hole. And like Pinocchio, you see something grow, and it's inside of your body like a tumor.
Gives you cancer for lying?
The more you lie, the stronger he gets.
Dude, Usopp just became like the #1 villain in fiction. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Every time someone lies, they get cancer.
Yeah, and you can only fight him if you have the cure, and the cure is being gatekept by a naturalist Chopper.
Yeah, I was gonna say anti-vax Chopper and Usopp. Is that like a match made in heaven, or is that
it's
like
kind of like
feeds...
I would say it's like, you know, Doflamingo and Kaido. Like you have to beat Doflamingo before you fight Kaido. So it's like you have to beat Chopper before you fight Usopp in this timeline.
Dude, I'm on board. We should get writing on this one. Better yet, let's get AI to do it.
Ooh, there we go. Oh, what about Brook? Baby killer Brook.
Do we just give him skin?
Yeah, but I was thinking, more along the lines of, because he's so old, what we do is he goes around killing the young.
Yeah, and instead of just being bones, he's just skin.
Oh, dude. If he goes around killing babies, that would give him, a new meaning to Humming Brook. The humming swordsman. He hums to your toddlers as he kills them.
Dude, this is terrifying. Just a sack of skin humming.
A sack of skin humming with a sword, just spinning around a nursery.
Bro, that's nightmare fuel right there.
Dude.
Oh my god.
All of these cursed Straw Hats, we need to get them commissioned at some point.
The cursed Strawhats. Yeah. Dude, I think Brook might be the scariest one. A sack of skin singing lullabies with a sword and killing babies. Like, for what reason? Is he trying to get like a skeleton going? Like,
wait, since we're inverting them, what would Chopper be then? Would he be like a human that just grows hair mid-fight? And then Zoro, for Zoro,
we just get the live action Chopper.
Since Zoro's missing like one eye, he has one eye closed right now. What we could do is we could make him like Donzo. He has like eyes all over his body.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's crazy. Every time he gets a scar, he gets eyes, like eyeballs. Like yeah.
Imagine you punch Zoro and then the spot that you punch an eye just pops out.
He's so scary.
And you just wonder why. Like, Zoro, what is that
doing? He's just like, I don't know either.
Yeah, no. Emphasis on I. I don't know.
Dude,
this is so
that's
stupid.
A crazy gimmick. How did we get here from this, bro?
Oh, and then have you watched or read any of like Junji Ito's fiction?
Yeah.
Do you know his most popular one, Uzumaki? Where everything's like a spiral.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. Sanji, he could have a gimmick that's similar to Zoro's, where whenever you hit Sanji, instead of like his body getting spirally or something, you become spirals.
Ooh.
Yeah, like to give you an example, Pride like month. Yeah, in Uzumaki, like everything in the town becomes a spiral or twisted. So maybe that's Sanji's power. You know, you hit Sanji and then boom, your arm just like starts snapping around. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. I like it. That's good. Yeah.
We could make these guys cracked.
Turns you into a Twizzler.
Yeah.
To
accompany his curly eyebrows.
Instead of the Rizzler Sanji, it's the Twizzler. Oh, this is good.
Ooh, I guess since this is like the inverted Straw Hat, Sanji would have no curls on his body, huh?
No
he
curls.
Makes you the
straight.
Curl. Yeah.
Damn. Straight leg Sanji. Yeah.
And then Kaido could be like a part of the new Fully's crew.
I like how we kept the name Fully.
Yeah. Like all the villains of One Piece become good, like the good versions of themselves.
Yeah, we'd have to figure out like how we take the name One Piece and like bootleg that one too. You can't do something like Two Piece.
Do
Like
Piece 3.
Two Piece 3?
No. Piece 3.
Piece 3?
Yeah.
Or One Pieces. Oh, just make it plural randomly.
Oh, whole piece. How about that?
Whole. Oh, we got. Yeah, this is good. Whole piece. Yeah.
Or we could like we could try to get sponsored by Whole Foods and just call it Whole Foods.
Yes, let's get sponsored by Amazon. That's a great idea.
I mean, is it not? I mean, Amazon's rich.
Yeah, it will be the second anime they got next to Psychopath. Like our dream.
Yeah.
That's why we went
to Amazon.
Yeah. Do they have other animes besides Psychopaths? I feel like that's the only one I've heard.
I don't know. I mean, even Psychopath, they just bought it. It's not like they produced it.
Yeah, which great buy, by the way.
Oh,
I like to imagine like that was a personal Jeff Bezos like touch. He watched Psychopaths. He's like, yeah, I co-sign this, and he bought that.
That has to be it, right? Like somebody high up in Amazon really loved the anime Psychopaths, and now it's getting like movies. It's got spin-offs. It's got like its 4th season. Which are you caught up?
I didn't watch, like, I remember last time when we talked about it, like on the 50/50, I was saying like there's something coming out, and then you were like, wait, really? And then you looked it up while we were there, and you're like, wait, a movie like came out this week, and then but it wasn't like adapted. I didn't watch that and whatever came after, so not caught up.
So you haven't met like the new main characters of Psychopaths then?
I think I watched like Amazon's season, which was like they had like the 3 chess player people, like that whole shtick. Yeah, I watched that season, and then it ended with that chess game like falling apart. And then the real villain came out. But that's the last I remember. It was like those like 3 overlord people were like, wait, what? And then the random guy was like, haha. And then it was like to be continued, basically.
You'd like the new season of Psychopaths. I think the main characters kind of remind me of us.
Oh,
yeah, it's 2 guys. It's 2 guys.
Dude, 2 guys, yeah. Pride Month? I gotta watch it this month then. That's crazy.
Nah, dude, it's kind of fun. Like they're like childhood friends, and they're also like immigrants too. And then that's kind of like what the new season of Psychopaths tackles, more or less. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
good stuff.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll check.
So
wait, is it on it's on Amazon?
I think Prime? So. Amazon Prime, yeah.
Should be.
I think I watched it on Crunchyroll, but yeah.
What? Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know they.
Yeah, it's like multi-streamed. Yeah, it's everywhere.
I haven't like opened up my anime website in mad long, so I don't know what like new stuff has been coming out. Like like the anime calendar.
Yeah.
I usually check that, but I don't think they put Psychopath. I think they only put like a certain subset of like anime on that calendar. I'm not too sure. I forget. Everything's updated. I think everything's just on Crunchyroll now.
If you want to like look at what animes are coming out or like what episode comes out when, AniList is a really good website for that.
Yeah, I think is that the one I use? Let me double check.
AniList.
Yeah, I think that was the one I used.
While you look that up, I just gotta say, man, what are you expecting next week for Yamato's journey? Do you think Urashima's gonna make an appearance, like for reals?
No, I want Kawamatsu to be front and center.
I don't.
This is egregious, bro. Because every other daimyo got that treatment.
The thing is that we don't have to spend time with that dirty Kappa.
Bro, we got Raizo, Kawamatsu. Ain't no way we're giving more respect to Raizo, bro.
I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I don't like Raizo either, but I just feel like we got to move on, man. Like, I'm not trying to spend multiple weeks with Kawamatsu.
Dude, we got to move on. Oda's not moving along here. Like, we literally got like 4 filler chapters after Who's Who lost. Like, we're not moving anywhere.
I hope we move. Come on, please. You know, it's funny. Like, I had like a mental breakdown in my last review video because I was just like, please, Oda, do something. Send somebody evil to Wano. Make Yamato actually sweat. And then somebody responded. They were like, Sai, like, do you really want Wano to get invaded after all these days of war and these small few days of peace? I'm like, yeah, 100%. Please. Please, somebody, please attack Wano, enslave the people. Even I beg you.
It's funny. That's what happened to Dressrosa and Whole Cake Island. Dressrosa, after the Strawhats left, got infected. There was a pandemic, the love virus, or I think.
Oh, from the cover page stories, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was something that Beige and his crew were like had to like fight off a little bit, and then they like the kidnapping, like, you know, and Pound. But I don't think they solved it. They just like cured their area, but like Dressrosa wasn't big, so it's funny that we say that because like Dressrosa did have like some problem happen to it afterwards, and Whole Cake Island got invaded by
Jerma and Blackbeard.
Yeah, exactly. So. Wano's kind of the next one, technically, right? Like, you know, and then Zunisha is kind of, it happened in reverse. Like Zunisha, like the Strawhats came, and then Jack came like right before / in tandem, and then like then Sanji left, and then Luffy came and like fixed it, but like kind of happened while they were going on there, you know. So like Wano, you know, technically,
so what you're saying is that a lot of these islands are getting double tapped.
Yeah, technically the Big Mom Pirates are still missing there, right? Like Smoothie, we don't know where she's at, right? Or did we? No, we got an update. We got with the Vegapunk thing. We saw Smoothie,
but we don't know where Smoothie is. Yeah,
she could be on Wano, right? For all we know, like sailing in the sea. Like I think we knew that she was on a boat, but like we don't know where. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, Smoothie. I think Daifuku was also there. Perospero, of course, Mont Dior. Like, there's a lot of Big Mom Pirates who were last seen on Wano, well, in Wano vicinity, right? Because they were like going up the waterfall, and then we just never got update. They're out there somewhere. We don't know where. They could be going back home. They could be here. They could be on Elbaf even, right?
Yeah. Do you think that like the Odin story, by the end of it, like a pirate shows up and picks Yamato up, and Yamato becomes like sisters with them?
Yeah, I talked about that with Dak Sake, and he said, well, I think we came to the conclusion that Blackbeard might recruit Yamato, and that'd be kind of fun.
I guess Yamato wouldn't have why would she think that Blackbeard's a problem? Luffy never said anything. No one really like, oh, that guy, he's evil. Never talked to him. So if Blackbeard did show up and he was a great pirate and he kind of like, you know, used his version of charisma, Yamato could like join maybe.
Yeah.
Do you think Yamato would be threatened by anybody on Blackbeard's crew besides Blackbeard?
I mean, Kuzan for sure, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as like the other Blackbeard pirates, like we don't really know where their ceiling's at yet. Like I'm very mixed on the Blackbeard pirates. I love those guys. Like those are my boys, right? But I just it's like if you're the coach of like a little league team and you're dealing with the rejects, you know, the C stringers, like their parents paid a little bit extra to get them on the team. It's like, I love these boys, man. They're fun, but like they just can't play ball, man. So that is what I'm afraid of. Like Yamato will just join and she's like the strongest, but I guess that kind of falls in line with Odin, right? Odin joined Whitebeard's crew and Odin was like, what, number 2? He had Ace's position. So maybe that's it. Like, you know, Yamato joins, there's Blackbeard, Kuzan, and then Yamato. Or we don't know. Maybe this is how we get the Blackbeard pirate hype. Maybe Yamato sees Vasco shot and she's like, whoa, like I've never seen a man this powerful before. Or maybe she fights San Juan Wolf and she's like, this guy's stronger than all the numbers and my father put together.
It'd be crazy if Yamato joined and Blackbeard goes, you're my younger sister. You know, like Odin was the younger brother, and then he got that respect because like everyone else was son, right? And another one were commanders on Blackbeard crew, and then Yamato gets like president or something. I don't know what's above like commander, but below admiral. I don't know. I was trying to find something, but I couldn't figure it out. But like younger cool. Sister would be kind of cracked, you know? Like
we need like a pirate crew that's like, I don't know, office themed. Like, oh, here's our president. Here's the congressman. Have you seen his cabinet? Like, that'd be kind of cool.
Do we? I guess we don't have that. Like, I was thinking Abe Lincoln, like the king of Hamburg or whatever. Hamburg Kingdom. Piece, yeah. Like, but he's not a pirate. So, yeah, there is no president, captain, pirate.
I mean, we also need like a ninja crew. You know, speaking of that, like imagine we meet like a ninja crew and there's like a Hokage.
That'd be kind of funny.
It would be really funny. Like, this is good filler. Like I'm saying, man, this could be good filler. Like, oh, Luffy versus the Hokage of the seas.
Yeah, dude. The village of the water. Wait, is that that's not a village, right? That's Mist.
You're thinking about the Mist
village of the water could be a thing. Yeah. Village of the Islands? Island Village? No, that just sounds like really terrible. But like
dude, we could cook such heavy filler, man. Like we could even do, you know how like Oda did what? Or not Oda, but like Toei. They did the Romance Dawn volumes, but animated. They could do that, but like with our Piece 3 or Whole Foods idea.
Whole Foods.
Yeah, with Fully in the gang. Be so good.
Whole Foods would be so funny. Whole Piece sponsored by Whole Foods. Yeah. We'd have to have that in every episode because we're just like broke. Like,
yeah, no, imagine sucks. Like mid-episode there's an ad and it's just people shopping at Whole Foods. Just shows their selection. Just the grocery
Whole
store.
Foods is kind of dope though. They give kids food out for free.
Why?
I don't know. My wife you just go up to the thing and then they give you like kids food for free. And so like while you're shopping, the kid just eats.
Yeah, but like what if that food's poisoned, dude?
But it's Whole Foods. Jeff Bezos would never. Come on.
Nah, dude, like what if a guy bought a Whole Foods employee outfit off of Amazon? They just stood outside giving out poisoned food, man.
Bro, I would trust Whole Foods way more like than like what? Walmart. Well, you got Kroger's, right? Like Stop and Shop.
We don't have Kroger's actually.
Oh, you don't have Kroger's?
Yeah, there's no Kroger's here in Oklahoma.
Does that make you super Southern, or is that like less Southern in my mind? I feel like Kroger's is like a Southern staple.
Not really.
Really?
Yeah. I've only seen Kroger's in like Ohio.
They have Kroger's in Ohio? That makes sense. Ohio's kind of Southern coded. No, Ohio's Florida coded. Never mind. The Kroger's in Georgia and Alabama, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, it just hasn't come here to Oklahoma, man. Like we have Whole Foods, Walmart, Target. We got a Costco. We got one Costco.
Wait, you sound like the Northeast. This is crazy.
Really?
In-N-Out?
No In-N-Out.
Okay. So you're still not west enough.
No Steak and Shake.
Middle. No. Oh, Steak and Shake. That's a Southern thing. That's not up here.
Yeah, it's not up here either.
Dang.
I could be wrong. Damn. I haven't really searched for these places in a while, but to my recollection, it's not there.
Dang.
And what's that like one that northern coffee brand, Tim Hortons or something?
That's Canadian.
Oh, that's Canadian, man.
Yeah,
we don't got that either.
That's super north. That's why I think that Buffalo has Tim Hortons. That's why we don't consider them New York.
Yeah,
they're like.
No, I knew somebody from like Buffalo, New York, and they just talked about Tim Hortons. It was kind of like, dude, stop.
Yeah, that's not a thing here. That's okay. We don't know. Tim Hortons is all right. It's just like a better version of like, it's like I think from memory, it's like if Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts had a baby and it was like had a good upbringing. That's what Tim Hortons is. It wasn't neglected.
I'm surprised there's not like an American version, right? Just name it like Tim the Whore.
Tim. That would be the bad upbringing, Tim Hortons. Like
Tim the Whore. It's like Hooters, but for coffee.
Hooters, but for coffee, unironically would be kind of good, right? Why? Wait, why isn't there a Hooters but just for coffee? Because Hooters is like after work.
I mean, Hooters is kind of going out of business. There's something about like guys not wanting to like, see that all the time. Because it's
but
like,
they're going out of business.
For Hooters, it's a little bit weird, right? Like I can't take my family to Hooters.
Hooters food was kind of buns. Like
I don't know, man. Their buffalo shrimp was pretty banging.
Oh, I don't like shrimp, so I didn't try it. But like,
damn.
I remember people were telling me like, because I loved wings and tried all the wing places, and like, bro, you haven't had Hooters, you gotta go try it. I went there, I was like, this shit's not that. There's nothing like why the Korean wings are better than this. And then at the time, Buffalo Wild Wings is price-wise better. So it's like, might as well go there. And then being a college student, most people just went to like Wingstop or like the pizza wing place that you get. So it's like Hooters.
I just saved up Hooters for KFC. Is a weird,
if they just had decent food, I feel like, because they had the tits. And I'm not gonna lie. I remember being like, I think she was hitting on me, and my wife was just like, "No, that's just their thing.
That's just their job, honey. That's they're getting paid by the hour to be nice to you."
No, but like my mind is thinking because Hooters, you wouldn't go before work, you'd go after work, right? If there was a Hooters before work, which would be a coffee place, that shit would be insane. So many guys would go there before work.
When you think about how like early people wake up to get their coffee, it's like, imagine it is 6 a.m. in the morning, you're barely awake, you got like maybe 5 hours of sleep. I don't think boobs is like, that's not like the first thing you think of, right? Like,
imagine
you just want your coffee.
Like a hot chick being like, you want cream with your milk or cream with your coffee? And
cream
it's like,
with your milk. Why would you also want cream with? I mean, cream with your coffee, sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna like whipped cream for a second.
Yeah. Top it all up, and it's like every.
I'd be so annoyed. I'd be like, just hurry up and give me the coffee, man. Put the coffee in the cup.
Yeah, but that's because you're a loyal, faithful, married guy, but like that's not the general populace. You gotta think that's hook, line, and sinker for all. It's like, yeah, give me all the creamer. You just sell out on creamer.
Give me all the creamer. They just F up their coffee. Okay, anyways, we gotta get back to One Piece. So we meet one of your favorite giants, Kashi, at the start of this chapter.
The title of the chapter. Apparently, that's the Viz translation of it. I get the idea. That's the title.
I get the idea now. We must move on before people steal it. Man, Viz. I forgot all about the Viz. Dude, the Viz is so funny, man. When people tell me about the Viz every now and then, I'm like, whoa, that's still around. I pulled up the Viz right now so we can read that version.
Yeah, because on TCB they gave the thing in quotes, like the title of it. And so when I read it, I was like, okay, so that means that someone says it this chapter. Who says it? And the TCB title says, "That's enough. I've got this." So like, and it's in quotes, and I'm like, okay, so who says this? Who could it make sense? Is it Emu? And it's like, no, Emu kind of already said that, so it can't be Emu. And I was like, okay, like then it's like, well, we got rid of Scopper. Scopper could have said it, but he's gone, so it couldn't be him. And then it's like, okay, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, it'd be cool. But then I was thinking, what if it's Yarul?
Yeah, I was about to say Yarul makes the most sense, right?
Yeah, so I was just like, yo, I hope he sees Dory and Brogy, and he just goes, I've got this. I was banking on that, bro. And it takes me back to like originally when we were like, you asked me like, do you think that Yarul does anything in the chapter, like when the Holy Knights first showed up and they got on the call? Oh no, when the monster showed up, and I was like, yeah, I want to see him do like a solo Hakoku sovereignty, but he has like double axes or some shit like that. I was waiting for that all chapter, and then like, we know who said it, but now it's infinitely more funny because the Viz goes, I get the idea, which sounds so lame knowing who says it.
Yeah, the best version of this was from the spoilers, where the title was just I understand. It's like that's kind of better.
That's better
it's
than
all
I get
funny.
the idea.
But it's definitely better than I get the idea.
Yeah. It's also funny because you cut off Chopper because the full line is Chopper, that's enough, I've got this. Or here it's Chopper, I get the idea. Or Chopper, I understand. Like, it's kind of funny that that's the full line. It's also funny because Chopper wasn't saying anything at that time. He was done talking, and then like Hajruden was talking, and then Luffy interrupts Hajruden. But yeah. Anyways, enough
stuff,
spoilers.
Man. Yeah, he's spoiling the end of the chapter. My God. So
it's the title.
We see Kashi, and he's trying to talk some sense into Dory and Brogy, but Brogy, man, he's a demon now. There's no talking to him, so he just marches forward, and apparently because Dory and Brogy and the demons are marching forward, Tall Man, he gets abducted by the demons. And he gets flipped into his black side. And now he is Dark Tall Man.
Short man, but big.
Yeah, short, big man.
Wait, the Viz doesn't say Tall Man, it's Thor Man.
What?
Yeah, his name is Thor Man.
They call him Thor Man?
Yeah, Thor, like Thor Finn, but Thor Man.
Huh? Where'd they get Thor Man from?
No, Thor Man, not you too.
Dude, I swear to God, man, the Viz just pulls some names out of their ass, bro. Like the thing is, the Viz could be correct, right? Until we get the anime, they could be right. But there's more reasons to believe they're not right. Like, I mean, go back to the Mother Flame thing. Go over to they still call Zoro Zolo. Like, I do not trust the Viz when it comes to names. They have never been like the person you go to. Like, I need to know how they spell this. I need to know how they pronounce this. Don't go to the Viz.
I will
Thor,
say,
man.
Their lines from Brogy and Dory. Wait, like read that. I kind of like it. The warrior we once admired has grown old and feeble, so it's time to force him into retirement.
That's pretty funny.
And then Dory goes, and then we will be the kings of Elbaf. There's no need for that god of Elbaf anymore. When was Yarul the god of Elbaf? Bring about the age of war. We'll build an era defined by ruthless and the mighty. That part's okay. But God of Elbaf, what was that substituted by? No need for idols or gods? Okay.
Yeah. Which I'm assuming they meant like, sun god in that one. But the Viz makes it seem like Yarl is the god instead. Yeah, the Viz makes Yarl seem a lot cooler.
Yeah, if I was reading this, then I would. Oh, but the title's scuffed. Never mind. Because I was like, oh, I'd be thinking it's 100% Yaru who says that. I am the god of Elbaf. Like, imagine he crashes out like that.
That'd be so good. Epic. No, imagine, dude. Like, when we see Yarul, right? The reason why he can use Hakaku sovereignty is because he can bring the dead back to life. He summons all the warriors of Valhalla. So Yarul, his dead brother, comes in, and it's a Hakaku sovereignty from heaven, bro. That'd be so sick.
Yarul doesn't do anything. He just like raises his scepter, and then like everyone fights for him. He just stays still. And it fits his line. Warriors don't even know how to run. Like, it just fits perfectly.
I'm actually standing still.
And we get like the Whitebeard line where it's like, notice there's no scars on his back or his front. That's a true warrior. Never battled before.
It would be super sick if like he does that and like angels descend from the heaven realm. And then we have somebody, and he's like, Brunhilde, come hither. And then you see like this Valkyrie just flying from the sky. And then Siegfried comes down and he smites Dory and Brogy.
Where did you get Brunhilde from? I like that a lot. That was
from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like you tapped in. I was gonna say you tapped into your ancestry.
Yeah. There's a guy who has like I don't even know what it is, like a Valkyrie themed deck, and that was like one of the cards.
Brunhilde.
Yeah.
Come hither. Imagine Yaro plays like he just like that's his he has a devil fruit. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh. He just like plays a card. That'd be kind of crack too,
dude. Yeah, imagine like you know how like Oda showed us the Domi Reversi board. Imagine when Yarl steps in, Yarl just you see a hand just wipe all the pieces off the board and they slap down Exodia. The Warriors don't know how to play board games. We need pictures. So that's why he likes Yu-Gi-Oh!
He does Uno Reversi. Oh, that'd be kind of cracked.
Oh, that'd be kind of nice, yeah.
Uno Reversi, Domi. Like some shit like that.
God. Oh, but yeah, on the money with the Reversi thing. I mean, we saw it this chapter, right? That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also like that Oda
depicts it.
Yeah, the way they depict it, like we see a shade over that white piece indicating the line that they make to flip the white piece into black. And it's so weird. So does this mean to you that if two demons simply surround you, you get turned right away without even being able to put up a fight?
Yeah. I think like that's the connotation from last chapter was this, because it didn't seem like when Dory and Brogy did it last chapter, they weren't cognizant of it, and it just happened to like the three giants in between them.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. And on top of that, Thorman was like, allegedly, he's like, oh no, I'm trapped between them. Like he's not like, unless he's seeing the board in his brain, he's physically trapped between them. And we see that there's an open spot above, left, and under. So, and like you see it in the visual, like it's not like he's like they're holding him down or they're locking him in chains or anything. Like he can move, but he can't. He's saying he can't. He's saying, I don't want to turn evil. Don't flip me over. And it's like he's fully aware of like the effect that's happening. And I think the last connotation that we can get from this that wasn't clear last chapter is that Oda's also depicting that, like, from last chapter, it was like, okay, Imu is able to turn someone to the dark side, and we would feel that Luffy would be able to turn someone back to the white side or the light side. But what it seemingly is depicted is that the normal state of the character is already the white side, is already the light side. So at the moment, there's no like cracked out demon Reversi form. It's the Reversi of this is just whatever state they were before, which, you know, that is kind of into like, that sounds logical even from last chapter. But, you know, like Oda's putting it as that they are already existent pieces on the board, whereas like, you know, he could have done it as like this piece newly appeared on the board as a black piece, and then you could kind of figure like, oh, okay, so then in the normal state they're not pieces originally, they got turned black, and then when they get turned white they get flipped into like a Nika form or something like that. But right now Thorman was already a white piece, which is kind of crazy for like our understanding of the One Piece world, because then it's like, you know, because then there were other conversations that we had too, like, is the D-Clan pieces that can't be reversed, does that mean they would show up as black piece? Like, we gotta wait for when a D-Clan member shows up in this depiction of the board. Oda might hide it from us. Oda might not show us what Luffy and another D-Clan, if, you know, they were to show up, what they would look like, because they might already be black pieces. And that you know, this depiction that Oda gave us is really, really interesting. And I wonder how limited of a viewpoint he's going to make it, because it'd be crazy to see, you know, like the expansiveness of what this game means for like the world of One Piece. Because we also say that for like good and evil. We said that about the admirals, right? Like, are they good? Are they evil? They have a sense of justice, but that doesn't necessarily make them good characters. Luffy is a pirate, but that doesn't mean he's inherently a good character because he's a pirate. Most pirates are evil, right? So, like, what does an evil pirate show up on here? What does Kaido look like on this board, right? Like, Kaido technically would show up as a white piece, right? So,
yeah. If you're not a demon,
it is
you're
interesting. White. Yeah.
I wish we saw like two white pieces circle a black one just to see if they would turn Dory and Brogy back to normal. I feel like that shouldn't be the case. That'd be such a heavy nerf, you know? Like, oh, Tall Man and and Kashi. They surround Barogi, and now he turns white, and he's normal again. It's like, no, that just feels odd. I don't know.
It feels odd if you restrict it to how like the game is played, but if you take it outside and like put it in the scope of like they're fighting actively, then it makes it kind of interesting, because then like Emu's prerogative then would just be to surround everybody, right? And so then Emu would be outflanking everybody, trying to prevent people from coming on the outside of their encampment or encroachment, right? So like, yeah, if this was just a board game, and like, yeah, that'd be kind of, it's kind of like the game's over, boom, it's easy, like, you know, you just keep flipping it back over. But then as far as what Emu and Luffy would be doing, they'd be fighting on the outskirts, trying to have their players be on the outside, trying to flip the board. And you can make it interesting that way, I feel like. It's not as boring, but I do, like, it does sound kind of like as far as a nerf goes, it's like, it's kind of lame for like Emu to show up and their powers that easily counterable. You know, it's not to say that this is Emu's final power or their most powerful move in the first place, but this is the debut move, and this is supposed to be the oppressive one that Emu's kind of using as like a autopilot. I'm gonna take over Elbaf and shatter their hearts and whatever, their spirits. And then that's where I was also thinking, like, it might be that if you were to think about it kind of, yes, like a board game, who would be the players? Like, who would be, like, yes, they're being depicted as pieces on the board. They're not the players. And when I thought about it like that, this would be where it gets kind of like, we didn't apply this to when, like, you know, Scopper's hurting, the Holy Knights, and we're like, surely that can't be just advanced conquerors, because Chopper was like, oh, I need to figure out this valuable information, and it would be so lame if that valuable information that hurts the Holy Knight and stops his regeneration is just Conqueror's Haki. But it could be that in order to be a player in this game, not a piece, you have to have conquerors. And that's where Oda could be a little bit exclusive, because then that's a part where I'm not as mad about, because for me personally, Conquerors isn't this super exclusive thing. It's super exclusive in the sense that even if you were to apply my logic, no, not everyone would be a Conqueror. A select few would be a Conqueror, but it's not like purely genetics based. Like, you have to earn it through your life. You have to live your life as a Conqueror and make those decisions. And some of those decisions, you know, like you can't reverse them, right? Like, for example, if Jinbei was subservient to Big Mom, I would look at him and be like, yeah, he would never be a potential conqueror, because he's like 60 years old at this point, right? You can't just like live your life subservient to someone your entire life. But the reality is Jinbei has always been like a conqueror for fishmen. Like, he's always been that person for fishmen. Anyone who he sided with has always been like, I'm only going to do this for fishmen. I'm going to be that like sovereign that is like independent, to the point that these Yonkos respect me and I'm this person. And that's why I could see a world where Jinbei is a conqueror still to this day, even though whatever, right? So it could be that, like, if you're a conqueror, you could be a player that if you have two conquerors outskirting the black pieces, then you flip them. It might be that. It might be that you need to be a conqueror in order to influence the pieces on the board. But I'm not. Obviously, that's just like it. Like in like a current thought. We have to see more of this example to be sure. But I feel like that would be a good way to like balance out that it's not just white piece. It's that the white pieces have to be like influenced by a conqueror or something like that. And it might be that Emu is giving them conqueror like powers when she Reversi Domis them, right? So they kind of sound like it, right? They're literally kind of saying like the dialogue that we're getting from Dory Brogy, they each sound like they're conquering, they're conquerors. Even Tallman like kind of it was probably like he's feeling like what it feels like to be a conqueror, right? Like, it could be seen that way. But yeah, we don't have enough evidence at the moment to go either way with how this board works.
Yeah, it could be it. I just think it could just be like one piece versus another. Like, they don't have to be conquerors necessarily. They don't even have to be influenced by one. For all we know, this could be like Kyoraku from Bleach and how he can manifest games essentially. And the games
Mhm.
work both ways. If you guys don't watch Bleach, essentially, well, his games are like very Japanese coded, so I'm not like familiar with them. But essentially, like he brings out these board games and classic games, and he applies it to a battlefield or to a fight, and you have to participate in that game against your will, essentially. But the game works both ways, where he can take advantage of it, but also you can take advantage of it. So it could be like one of those things too. Or like, maybe it is really just that simple, where two people surround Brogy and he just turns back to normal.
Which you got to imagine, if you were to fight him, that's probably naturally going to happen, right? Like if Sanji and Zoro were to fight Dory or Brogy, and they just like were standing on both sides of him, would that just be enough to flip him? That it's weird in scenarios like that, where it's like when we get into actual fighting, it's not that crazy for like Zoro to hit somebody and then flip over them and end up on the other side, and then Sanji's still on the other side, and then they end up flipping them. Like we've seen battle choreo like that, which is maybe intent matters, maybe the conquer stuff matters, but I do like the idea, like I was saying on stream, like Robin is a good character because Oda already depicted Robin as like a chess player in the cover story. So maybe Robin's like looking at this and it's like, I know this game. I recognize this game. Let's play this game then. And then she starts moving people like a chess player because she technically could if she really wanted to. I'm not sure if she'd be able to pick up a giant with her Gigantomano, but like maybe she could. I don't know. We have seen her maneuver Big Mom before. If you remember Onigashima, afterwards, like they ran her over and then Robin flipped her and tossed her out of the castle. And that was with mini hands too. So there's that. But then I also like the idea that like, because if you remember, the introduction to Elbaf was a Lego type of game environment. And who was the person who did that? None other than Roto. And he's a character that I feel like a lot of people, whether they liked or not, he felt like a character that would get a bigger role later on. And that could be it. Like he's a character that, was put in a position of like playing games with miniature pieces, literally like a game master. And so here we go. Here we have a game being played, but with the giants. Is this where Roto comes in? It's like, wait, I know this game. In all my 120 years of living, or however old, no, he's not that old, but his 80 years of living, 60 years of living, whatever it is, he goes like, oh, I played this game before. And maybe him and maybe Robin tells him how to move the pieces. It could be that too. So maybe it's Robin plus the new giant pirates. Maybe Hajruden gets the other thing of his crewmates, and technically Luffy screws above them, and Robin is directing them. Robin, Usopp. It could be something like that.
I guess the hard part would be to realize that this is even the Domi Reversi game in the first place, right? Because while we see that depiction, it's not like anybody on the battlefield sees that, right? It's not like when Robin shows up, they're gonna see Domi Reversi in the board game. Like I feel like you'd really have to like take some time to observe the situation before you come to even something close to that conclusion. Except
we were pleasantly surprised by the giants' insane. Sai always hits them with the, they're not the fastest learners. It takes 20 years to get an 8-year-old's level. But battle IQ, last chapter, the giants immediately clocked. It's like, wait a second. Did they flip because they were in between the two giants? And I was like, wait, that's kind of cool that they already noticed that on first like example. When they saw that, they saw the giants flipping, and the giants, reminder, Colin's out here 20 years old at a first grade level. So like, that's what I'm saying. The giants, their battle IQ is pretty up there. Maybe we're going to need to combine some battle IQ. And what's also funny about the whole Robin thing is that Sommers just 2 chapters ago put Robin on a level, on a pedestal we have yet to see. A Holy Knight like complimenting an insect he literally goes, "Whoa, this lady's battle IQ is off the charts." All because Robin used the clone, and he was already complimenting Robin's battle IQ. So it could be we already saw the two players, the battle IQ already being shown. Sommer's already pointed it out. Robin, and then the other giants who already figured out the thing. Maybe they end up being the Magnus Carlsen of Domi Reversi. For those who don't know, Magnus Carlsen is the #1 chess player in the world. But yeah, that one. Or Gukesh, as people have now seen some clips of him winning one chess game against Magnus, which pretty awesome. Shout out to Gukesh. Yeah.
But yeah, like I agree with you. I think I really enjoy the theories that Robin is going to be the chess player here. I think that's how Robin could. I feel like that's what she could definitely do here, because she has the powers to spawn in like a giant hand and move people around. So she is best suited for that right there. Yeah. And of course, like, she wants to save the island because of the books of Ohara here. So I don't think that's bad at all.
Yo, Robin doesn't play the game. She literally just brings all the pieces to the library. Put out the fire. She just completely ignores the
That'd
citizens.
Be so funny.
And then I was like, what are you doing, Robin? The citizens are that way. It's like, I don't give a fuck about the Elbafians. I need my books. That'd be so cool.
Ooh, what we should do is, like, I really wish we could, put Robin in a situation where she has to choose. Would you genocide the giants, or would you save the books of Ohara?
Yeah.
What would you do?
What would I do?
No, what would she do?
What would she do? I mean, Oda's been pretty biased in how every single time we've seen Robin care even a little bit, it's because the library is burning. Isn't it even in this chapter too? Like, we see the library burning, or is it last chapter we saw it? And then right after was Robin's. Yeah, and then the time before that too is we're gonna execute the kids. Nothing. And we're gonna burn down the library. And then Robin's like, yikes, I gotta do something about this. And then the chapter before that, it was all this stuff was going down, and then Chopper was like, Robin, why are you moving down? And she's like, the books. That's what's going on.
I don't blame her, man. The thing is, think about it like this: the giants, they can fend for themselves. They're supposed to be warriors, dude. The books can't fight back.
Yeah, the books are like kids. The books are like kids, but with no arms.
In a way,
or legs.
They're defenseless,
innocent. Yeah, innocent little paper.
And then, for all Robin knows, Tall Man here, he could have been like a serial molester.
Yeah. Yeah. That Tall Man, that's why he goes by Thorman in the Viz. He doesn't want to get put on a list.
He doesn't want to be caught. He's using a fake ID. Get this guy out of here.
The Viz got fooled by his antics. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Steven.
He's getting Chris Hansen. Yeah.
Dude, I guess we said serial molester. We didn't say child abuser. That doesn't necessarily mean Chris Hansen's involved. That's
yeah.
Why is your wife looking at you?
No, nothing. So we see Ripley going for Colin, and I think this is going to be really interesting, because that means that Ripley pretty soon is going to end up fighting Sommers, right?
Yeah, it's plausible. It's plausible for sure.
I think that's a matchup we're kind of looking forward to, right? Because Scopper was able to beat Sommers. Do you think that Ripley will be able to beat him too? Or do you think she's going to get outmatched? And this is where Sommers just absolutely shines.
I think that, by the fact, do you think that Scopper chose Ripley just because she's a baddie? Surely there's other we saw Gerd. Gerd's a baddie. You know what I mean? I think that Ripley's a baddie, but she's also bad. You know what I mean? Bad as in one of the strongest people on Elbaf. That's why Scopper
I think
went
it's 50-50. I mean, she was a warrior, right? So yeah, see it.
And we've talked about it. I think it's not that crazy for us to believe that Ripley's top 5 giants, just of the giants, top 5 fighter.
Well, there's Yarul, Oimo, Kashi, Dory, and Brogy.
Wait, when did we ever
Okay,
put
wait. Who do you think's gonna put up a more impressive showing? Yarul, the oldest warrior that Dory, Brogy, Oimo, and Kashi looked up to, in Viz, the god of Elbaf, or Ripley?
Oh, because also by the Viz, Brogy clocked his ass has grown old and feeble. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say this.
But you don't know, dude. Like, what if we see Yarul? What if we see Yarul, and then he's like, you think I've grown old and feeble? Well, actually, I've been storing all of my years in my noggin. And then he just unleashes like an age blast.
My fever wet dreams is that Yarul is Master Roshi, bro. Takes off the thing and then just stands up straight, bro.
Okay, that's not where I was going with it. I thought you were gonna say that he was gonna release age pheromones.
When does Roshi do that?
No, he does it, but I thought that's what you were gonna say. I thought we were like on the same wavelength, and I was imagining, imagine you fight Yarul, and the closer you get to him, it's like Gojo's Infinity, right? The closer you get, the more the ability activates. You age up more and more.
Oh.
Like imagine throwing a punch, and you're like, I'm in my prime. I'm gonna take out this old man. But as your hand gets closer, it starts shrinking and like shaking. And then by the time your hand hits Yarul, your bones break because you're so brittle.
So we give him Bonnie's power? Like Bonnie has the NDE bullet? Like we
but it's like a passive of Yarul. And he's just and then he whips out, he says, this is just one of the many abilities of aging.
I've acquired in my years. The reality is it's like, what's his face? What's his name? Lao G. Right? Oda gave us Lao G, and his thing was like he did like storing the power of youth. That was, as much as that was a meme, that's like a reality. And who best to give that to than Yarul, right? Like he's literally a character that apparently fought 14 years ago? That means he was 390 or something, right? Like he was 395 and he was fighting Loki.
Ooh.
Like we have to accept that reality that like apparently he actually fought Loki at the age of 395 and didn't die.
Maybe.
Like, every other person died. He's the only survivor of Loki. And I'm saying Loki because whatever happened, everybody else died. Regardless if it was Loki or not, everybody else died.
He survived a genocide, dude. I mean, here's the thing. What if Yarul has like an alter ego, and this is where Ja Rule comes in?
Oh yeah, and he's a rapper.
Yeah, no. That's on theme with One Piece, man. Music is a big hot thing. Maybe Ja Rule just comes out rapping.
Did we say this on stream or off stream when we were talking about Kanye West being a celestial dragon?
I think that was on stream.
Oh, was it? I don't remember because the reason why I don't remember is because I feel like I would 100% have read the comments.
Feel like a top 5 Holy Knight.
Yeah, but I don't think I remember seeing comments about us talking about Kanye West's celestial dragon.
Well, we talked a lot. We talked about a lot of things, which we'll get to here in a little bit too. I definitely want to bring back one idea, but before we get there, we do see the kids. They are sleepwalking as it stands, and they're dreaming of Gunko dash Emu. Right? We see the devilish imp with the horns and wings, and then you see those monsters pop out of Killingham's nightmare holes. So.
This says nightmare holes, bro.
No, wait, I just made that up. No, they actually call it nightmare holes? No.
Nightmare hole is so
no,
funny,
don't call it Biz. I get it, right? Maybe in Japanese it really is called nightmare hole, but this is the one time where you change it to make it sound cooler. Nightmare fissure is way better, right?
Nightmare hole sounds like a prostitute, bro.
Yeah. Hey, you see John over there? He's got STDs, man. He went inside the nightmare hole. Like, why would you call it that?
Nightmare hole is so, because I was like, please, Sai, please tell me you're reading the Viz, and then you said nightmare hole, and I'm like, yes, he said it.
No, yeah, I was just calling it that because it was funny. I didn't think that the Viz actually put that in there, you know?
Oda apparently has the kids spawning out of the nightmare holes.
That's so awful, dude.
It's so good.
So yeah, monsters come out of that giant black nightmare hole. They start dancing around. We also see the nightmares that were previously dead come back to life as well, which is kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, they were just role-playing being dead. But yeah, they were all
Killingham
back in action.
Pulled out a yellow horn, a giant horn. Do you think that he ripped that off of a giant's helmet, or he just carries that around?
I think he carries it around.
Yeah. Or do you think
they
they
just spawned it in?
Yeah, like, because it might not be necessary. He could probably just go, woo! He could probably just do that, you know, like, woo! And then it's the same thing, right?
It's kind of lame, though.
You think it's cool with the horn? It makes it cooler? Do you think that, like, when he was investigating his devil fruit power, he was just like, how do I make them come to life? And he was just like, it was like Spider-Man in the first Spider-Man, who was just like, web on, and then he's just like shouting into the abyss, and then he's like, damn it, I need to be louder, and he just like took a horn. He's like, oh shit, this works. Or do you think like
I think he already knew from the get.
Weapon?
I think he knew from the get.
Oh, right, because he's so good at the devil fruit power. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's a celestial dragon after all. They
They're
were inherently just like a little bit better.
Yeah.
Than like humans generally, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think? Oh, actually, no. I'm gonna let you cook because we're about to get to one of the major reveals of this chapter.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe?
Like,
what do you mean? I don't know.
What do you mean?
The face. The next. We never saw it before this chapter. It's a huge reveal.
But what if he's seen him before though?
Wait, what do you mean we've seen it before? We've seen this before? Yeah. What do you mean, Sai? What are you cooking up in there?
In our dreams, Par.
In our dream? When have you? What kind of gooner dreams do you have? I'm kidding.
Guy? No, have you heard about the guy who like it was like a meme back in like the early 2000s? It's in Dandadan, like the guy that everybody dreams of.
Wait, are you current with Dandadan?
No, but you could spoil. I don't mind. I don't think I'm catching the Dandadan.
I don't know if you're ahead of me.
Oh no, I have not touched it at all. I have no real interest.
Then I know what you're talking about, I think. Yeah.
The guy who everyone dreams about. Like if you type that in, wait, like type that in, you'll see him right away.
Okay, the guy who everyone dreams about. The guy who everyone sees in their dreams.
Yeah, it's like a guy with their crazy eyebrow, like really thin, long lips.
I've never seen this, but I've heard of this concept. Oh my god, there's some cursed versions of this though.
Yeah, he's kind of scary looking, but what if Killingham is like that? Like that is what Killingham is based off of.
The guy that this is the guy everyone sees. Like, I can tell you for sure, I've never seen this in my dreams.
I've never seen it either. I feel like that's just like an early 2000s meme or something.
Yeah. Oh, do you think Oda has seen this in his dreams?
Maybe that's Emu's form.
Yeah. This is Emu. This is Emu's form. Oda didn't reveal it through Gunko. He revealed it through Killingham. The sly dog Oda is. He did it again. Woo!
The foreshadowing.
Yeah, shadowing, some would say.
But dude, when it comes to Killingham's design though, man, it's so good. People are saying he's a fishman. I just don't know why.
Wait, no, you do know why. You literally came on the stream and said, Par, this is a Hody Jones in the flesh.
Referring to his lashes, yeah.
Oh, I saw Madame Charlie first. Let me pull. I haven't pulled up Madame Charlie. Let me pull it side by side. Madame Charlie, 100%, right?
Madame Charlie. Let me look her up too. Yeah, I just don't see the fishman angle. I think that's like a theory that somebody made up, and now everybody's kind of running with it.
So go to the wiki. Go to the wiki, right? And then go to personality, and then they have a picture. that's it. This is it. It's like that. It's 100%. Even has the emo hair too.
I mean, that's just
the teeth,
sharp teeth.
Yeah, the teeth. Fishman. She's a shark, so she has.
Wait.
Teeth.
Okay. So dial it back real quick. Do you believe that he is a fishman?
So I do technically have a theory on my channel that all celestial dragons are rooted in fishmen.
Okay, but besides that, do you think he's overtly a fishman?
No, I don't think so. But like, it is kind of crazy because this is like this happened in the past where it's like someone has sharp teeth and it's like, oh, fishman, like shark, whatever. That is like a thing. And then a lot of people on stream was like, you know, when you said the Hody Jones, it's like, yeah, it looks like Hody Jones, the eyes. I did get Madame Charlie when I saw this thing, it was like Caesar and Madame Charlie, right? The Madame Charlie thing, like Madame Charlie has a interesting backstory. Like she's half sisters with Arlong. Oda could be doing a crazy weird thing here. I don't know. Is it weird? Would it be the craziest thing for Killingham to be fishman? Not necessarily. I think I said in that video too. It's odder to me. It's weirder to me that there aren't celestial dragon fishermen because we know they be fucking. We know that's literally a thing with like slave history too. Is that the slave owners would mess with their slaves, despite all of their racist and oppressive thing. They be like, yo, we all human anyways and procreating. So like this is a thing, and I literally said in the video I wouldn't be surprised if there were fishmen celestial dragons and they just like act like they're not fishmen.
So putting the chips down, do you think he's a fishman though? I want a yes or no. Just a simple yes or no.
You know what? I'm gonna tap into the old Par. I'm gonna say yeah, dude. I'm gonna say yeah. I think there's a possibility that's greater than 50% that he is fishman. I mean, the other thing too, now like you know, the other in the video I was talking about how all the celestial dragons wear bubbles, right? But we saw with the Holy Knights and the Gorse they don't. Then Killingham shows up with the bubble on his thing. And it's like, that's kind of fishman coded too. Like that's low key fishman coded. And so like, there's more than one thing odd enough that like makes it feel like fishman. And here's another one. Like I'm looking at him. He has like a BS trident, right? And like last chapter when Emu pulled out the tridents for everybody, it's like pitchfork trident. But when you see the trident, that's another thing that like has a fishman coded thing. And he had that first. So is it that crazy? To me, not really. Like when you're asking me, like, if I put money down, I could see myself putting down money that's fishman, but I could also see myself being wrong. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I would be like, yeah, I could see it being fishman. There's like more than one thing with him at least, right? If you ask me, or all of them, like Sommers, no, I don't think Sommers at the moment, right? That would be kind of odd for me to put them all in the same bucket. But I did talk about with Gunko, right? Like last chapter when we got Emu, Reversi dominating the people and their teeth were all changing. And I was like, yo, why did Oda hide Gunko's teeth? Maybe there's something messed up with their teeth. Messed up being like, is it sharp? Is it like fangs like Katakuri? Maybe it shows something happened to Gunko that makes her imperfect, or maybe they're hiding something. What if Gunko's part fishman and she was hiding the teeth? Like it could be like that. And like why isn't he showing up in his human form? Why was he hiding it this entire time? Why did he show up in the dragon head form or giraffe head form this whole time? Maybe he's hiding the teeth. Maybe he's only going all out here because there's no survivors now, and no one's gonna see them in the first place, and no one's gonna talk about the tales of the fishman celestial dragon, right? Like it could be some shit like that. And Oda has been putting, you know, in each arc, that random half fishman, half fishman. As weird as it to be in the Celestial Dragons, again, I am the guy who literally said, "Hey, Celestial Dragons." You know, at the time when we got Kaido, his dragon fruit was classified as a fish. Would it be that crazy if the Celestial Dragons were also fish? And technically, now this very chapter kind of gives on both ends. Like, hey, you could look at it, you could shoehorn the idea continuously and be like, hey, look, this guy looks like a fisherman. A lot of people instinctively thought this is a fisherman. But then by the same logic of my video, you could look at it and Oda put a giraffe underneath the dragon fruit. So like you could be like, oh, well, there you go. There's counter to the idea. But technically this is different than Kaido's. But yeah. Long story short, I would be on the he's a fishman boat. I would be on that boat.
That is
unfortunate.
Fair.
I know, guys. I'm sorry.
No. I don't think it's like not a popular theory. I think there are a good handful of people who believe that Killingham is a fishman. I don't see it. Obviously, like, I don't think the chance is 0. I put like 20% chance fishman, but I feel like my my logic is coming in and just saying, oh, he's just a human, or he's a celestial dragon.
I know this is a hard hypothetical for you specifically,
What's
but
up?
if you were Saint Sai, a holy knight who can put your, use your power, you have the authority, would you just execute Saint Killingham being fishman? Like he's in your ranks, disgusting fishman. Would you just like kill him?
Depends on how hard he works, and depends on his upbringing. If he was raised solely in the Holy Land, I'd keep him. But if he's like been tainted by the lower world, then nah, get rid of him.
What if he ever breathed water? Because celestial dragons don't breathe water. That's nasty.
What if he kill him too?
What he tapped into his fishman lineage a little bit.
Get him out of there, dude.
Get him out of there. Oh,
yeah. But
what if he took a dive in Kong's aquarium one time?
Nah, get him out of there too.
Get him out of there.
I don't know why you thought that would like change anything. You're bringing up these like nonsense. But Sai, what if he drank water one day just out of a cup?
No, because that's.
But Sai, what if he starts secreting oils? It's like
no, like
you're gonna change my answer with these
dudes do. Like we have breathing contests. Who can stay in the swimming pool the longest, and he stayed in for 40 minutes, and it's like, wait, people can't do that. What did you do there? And you just see gills coming out.
But before I get back to the Killingham thing, you reminded me of something. I saw somebody die the other day like that.
You saw someone die?
Dude.
Like on video or in real life?
No, like in real life, brother.
What the hell?
Yeah. It was I mean, not like the other day, but like a while back. It was like a year or two ago. My apartment complex had a pool, and my window has like a good view of the pool, whatever. And people were partying out there, and then 1 minute I just turned around, the cops were there. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Turns out a guy was underwater for 40 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, apparently he was trying to hold his breath, and he just died. He was definitely high as a kite. I mean, he was definitely on drugs. Oh. He also was there with a partner too, believe it or not. And when the police asked her, like, why didn't you get him? And she just said, he just does that sometimes. So she was definitely high as a kite too, man, huh?
She probably had life insurance. Oh, they were both.
I don't know. I don't know all the details, but I remember just seeing that. I was like, no way.
That's not fentanyl, right? You won't do that. You can't think
I don't know.
On that. That's
and
the
thing is, like, they weren't the only people in the pool. Like, there was a lot of people at the pool that day. But I guess it was like one of those things where you don't really pay attention to like other groups when you're like doing your thing, right? You're over here doing breaststrokes, doing the dog paddle. You're not gonna like look around like, oh, who's been underwater for a while? So I get why like bystanders don't really do anything, but that's just crazy in general.
I'm a little bit different because I'm always when I'm in a pool, I'm always under the water. so yeah, when I'm in the pool, you never see me above water.
So that guy, like just like your hypothetical, pulled a dirty Saint Killingham right there.
Yeah,
more like killing himself, brother.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Killingham, more like killing himself.
So going back to Killingham real quick, I can see why people think he's a fishman. I just feel like there's more reasons to believe that he's just a mythical Kirin devil fruit user. Like people like the main thing is the teeth, right? People like point out the teeth. The trident, I think, is a good one, but the teeth are the main thing people tend to talk about. And it's like, you gotta remember, he is a hybrid devil fruit user. He has the Dragon no Mi model Kirin. We've seen devil fruit users before, and their mouths change because of their devil fruit. Kaido! You know, we had Kaido had these giant square-ass teeth as a human, or as an Oni, and then when he goes into his hybrid form, they're sharp as hell. Like, I just don't understand why, like, sharp teeth automatically goes to fishman when there are other routes out there. That's my main thing. And then people are doing the Mihawk thing again.
Wait, but is Kaido the only one?
Kaido's not the only. I mean, if you want to bring back like weirder ones, I mean, Pell has normal teeth, and then when he turns into a bird, he gets like a beak.
Like, well, that's not sharp teeth.
No, it's not sharp teeth, but what I'm trying to say is it morphs towards your actual Zoan.
The Kaido one's a little tainted, right?
How about okay, Rob Lucci.
He's Rob Lucci. Okay, so Rob Lucci goes from
normal teeth to sharp teeth
in his awakened, only in his awakened, right?
I think in his hybrid.
Cause in Water 7, I don't remember Oda giving him the sharp teeth per se.
Maybe it's just in his awakening. But then again, you could say that Killingham's awakened too, right?
Yeah,
because he has the cloak.
Yeah. But like, oh yeah, Lucci having the jaguar, leopard, he's
wait, Lucci only has the sharp teeth in his awakening. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean that could be Oda choose, like, that's a design difference of 20 years type thing, you know what I mean? Like it could be he has a predator thing, like they typically do have sharp teeth. I was saying the Kaido one's a little tainted because his fruit is the fish fruit. So like when you're talking about Kaido getting closer to his awakened. Ooh,
Yamato hybrid sharp teeth.
Yeah. So like that's what's interesting is like, wolf, jaguar, leopard. Yeah, that one definitely makes sense. But they're in their animalistic one, right? This is one where he's going backwards. In his dragon form, it's not like he had sharp teeth, right? Like, but we're talking about he has a human face here. That's a little bit different than when the characters are going into their more animalistic one. Because it would make sense if you're going to your like when Lucci goes into his hybrid awakened, his face is that of a leopard, right? So like that would make sense that he has sharp teeth like a leopard. When Yamato goes into her awakened, like semi-awakened, whatever, wolf form, sharpened teeth. When Kaido goes into his hybrid awakened thing, he's going into his more animalistic state where his face is part dragon, sharp teeth. He's going into his human state. That's where it's like weird
but it's also weird because he only does like his lower half here into his Kirin form, and then later, beforehand it was his top half, but his bottom half was normal. So like you could just say that he has full control over his Zoan, and this is just what happens. He's kind of like Chopper in a way.
But I think that's where, as far as like where other people, if they were to like really dissect it, I personally haven't gone through all the things and gone through the thing, but like if I were to split it up, I'd be like, dude, this would be a lot different because before we saw him top half devil fruit, bottom half human. Now bottom half is the thing. Like, why would he split it up? Like, why would you know what I mean? Like, why would it be top half not fully human, just his teeth are part the Zoan part? You know what I mean? Like Oda flip-flopped it, and now we're getting the human half top. So I think that because it's human half top, it's not that crazy for people to be like, okay, so this is part of his base look. This is his base, not related to his devil fruit, because Oda flip-flopped it. I think that's where it's like that's a heavier distinction between Yamato, Kaido, and Lucci, because those are complete, fully. There's no half. This is straight up. We saw half, top half, devil fruit, bottom half human. Now flip, bottom half devil fruit, top half human. I think that's where a lot of people would 100% put a distinction on the Kaido example, Lucci and Yamato. And I personally would see, if I'm looking at a wolf-faced human, them having sharp teeth, I wouldn't say it's a fishman, it's the wolf part, right? I wouldn't say it's a leopard, or they're fishman, it's a leopard. I wouldn't say it's a fishman, I'd say it's a dragon. But this one, it's like this is the first time we're seeing his human side, or human, and that's where it's like,
I see what you mean. I see why it's muddied, but I still stand by that he could just have those sharp teeth because of his devil fruit.
And then the other part is like when we look at like I think another emphasis point too is Dellinger. Dellinger literally was just like, he removed his teeth to show off his fishman teeth, and his fishman teeth are sharp, and he's a fighting fishman, and that was an emphasis point that Oda gave on the teeth, that like he removed, like, because it was the reveal that he is half fishman, and the reveal was yank his teeth out and then boom, sharp teeth. Oda made that emphasis point that of separating, like, oh shit, he's not just human, he's fishman. What did Oda show us to make him fishman? His sharp teeth. And I also think Sasaki is also another one where it's like everyone else is human, and then Sasaki is the half, and he has sharp teeth base, right? Like no one else in their ranks had the sharp teeth. And so that's another one where Oda emphasized that, like, yo, this is a fishman, and like, boom, this is the reveal also. Dellinger is probably like the craziest one too, because Oda went out of his way to give us like the shock value of, oh my god, this guy's half fishman. And then the shock, like how he did it was through the teeth. And I kind of like the way Oda did it with that one too, because sharks have, like, they can constantly regrow teeth. But yeah.
Also, it's another thing where, like, he could just be human with sharp teeth even. Like, it doesn't have to automatically mean that he is like a fishman.
Yeah, I got you. He's a human who's prepping for veneers.
Like, my thing is that it's not zero that he's a fishman. I don't think there's a 0% chance. I just don't think it's high.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a lot you'd have to explain to make Killingham being here and being a fishman make sense.
Yeah.
And then plus, I was going to say this earlier too, but like, people are doing the Mihawk thing with this guy, where, you know, in that first panel where we see Killingham, people
like
are
here?
looking at, here. They see the lines on the neck, and they're like, oh my god, he's got fucking gills! And this is like Mihawk, because I don't know if you guys remember, back when we got Cross Guild's poster, Mihawk had shading on his chest and his neck, and people were like, holy hell, somebody scarred Mihawk! Somebody cut the man! It's like, brother, that's just shading, I think. You know, like, it could be gills. Yeah, I see what you mean, but I feel like we need a better look at him. You know, I'll say that we need a better look at Killingham before we could say he's got gills.
Yeah, or he just had thyroid cancer and he just had his thyroid removed.
Yeah, or it could just be like the angle and the shading. There's a lot of explanations for why he has, you know, a line right here in his neck crevasse.
Yeah,
that are not gill theories, but I don't see it yet.
That's a good one.
Honestly,
like
the most damning argument for why he's a fishman is something you said earlier, and it's the fact that he has a trident. You know, like that's pretty much it. That is like the one thing that I really enjoy. It's like, oh, he has a trident. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that could be like a fishman thing. But the teeth, I don't see it. The eyes, I don't think are an indicator. The bubble, that's just the celestial dragon thing. Like, I don't think any of that indicates fishman outright. It's not zero. It's just not high, in my opinion. What's kind of funny is that if you look at the TCB about St. Killingham, they put the Q in his name still, despite us having the English spelling by Oda. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. The Saint Kirin. Yeah, they're keeping the Kirin in there. They might as well put the R.
Which it's
the hard R.
It's kind of funny because, like, you know, Kirin is also spelled with the K, not just the Q. You know, so it's like, what are they doing? Yeah, it's like they're doubling down on the Q. Like, we see the English spelling, but we're just gonna add the Q in there anyways.
What does the other scan say?
Just Killingham as well.
Like with the K?
Yeah, no. TCB is the only site that uses the Q.
And single L?
Yes.
Damn. Yeah. But I do like, does the other scan say Dream Demons?
What do you mean? Like,
so he goes, rampage
like
your heart's
TCB?
content. Yeah, my Dream Demons. Viz goes Sleep Tids.
Yeah. So that is one where it looks like everybody agrees with Dream Demons. And
it sounds dope. I love that.
It looks like Viz is the only one that goes with Sleep Tids.
Sleep Titties, yeah, that's a weird one. I feel I know I have a Creep Tid, whatever. Like,
that's what they're going for. But it's like when we my thing has always been this, but when the English dub for One Piece and when even the Japanese dub for One Piece gets here, what are they going to use?
Dream
Like,
Demons.
I don't think they're going to use Sleep Tids.
Yeah, Dream Demons is unironically one of my favorite because that's literally like jumbo shrimp. It's an oxymoron. You're not supposed to have demons in your dreams. That's a nightmare. But
Yeah,
he's calling it Dream Demon.
I mean, it's
That's
like
so sick.
It's what? It's like the Mosa thing, right? Like when One Piece gets to Mosa, are they going to call him Shaggy in English? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're just going to call him Mosa.
He could be. Maybe Oda is making a Scooby-Doo reference here. Who knows?
Yeah, a Scooby-Doo reference that people in Japan won't understand.
Wait, no. Scooby-Doo goes hard in Japan.
No. What I mean is, like, the name Shaggy won't translate the same way over there.
Oh, wait. What is Shaggy called? I just assumed
They just
Shaggy
call him Shaggy.
Roo.
No. They just call him Shaggy. But what I'm saying is that since they call him Mosa, it's like, if you translate Mosa to Japanese, it's like it's just hairy. I don't know. Like, it wouldn't exactly be Shaggy like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
It could be. Oh, that's how Oda's hiding it right now. But then when we get the name card, it'll be Shaggy of the Mystery Machine or not Mystery Machine.
Yeah, they take his name and they translate it. Now it's Shaggy.
Yeah. The name card.
It's just silly.
We gotta wait for the name. You know, we are men of the narrator card, right? Recycle Cur Biblioteca.
Yeah,
right. We gotta wait for Shaggy Roo.
When we get the Mosa reveal, I think it'll be huge. But for now, I don't think it's actually Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I don't think it's gonna happen yet.
Our next debate this chapter, which is coming up lightning fast. Is it coming up? Hey, yeah, it's pretty close.
Oh, where is it?
Almost there. No, I mean the Mosa conversation.
Oh, the Mosa convo. Yeah. We're almost there. There. So we'll skip past like the Jinbei Usopp stuff. Like we've talked about them to death, right? Like,
but we can't skip
what
the reveal, right?
What reveal?
The next major reveal.
Which one?
You know what I'm talking about. We finally find out whose mom. Who the Dream Demon? It's Bent's mom.
Yeah, Bent's mom.
Bent over. Bent
over.
over.
We get the Bent mom reveal, and it looks like the parents are going to the kids, right? They're waking up from Emu's Conquers Hockey Blast.
Yeah.
Am I expecting much? Not really. I kind of want Summers to just put them back to sleep, you know? I guess that's a nice way to put it, right? Just put the parents back to sleep. I don't want to see more of Bent's mom.
Do you think Bent's their last name and her first name is Over and her middle name? She's a D clan member.
Bent D over.
Oh, it would just be Bent Over. Never mind. You don't have to make a D clan.
I was gonna say, why'd you make up D clan out of nowhere?
I forgot the full thing is Bend
know.
Over, but so Ben and then D and then we already got Bent. Oda gave us the T already. So
yeah.
So you think her first name is Over, last name Bent?
Overbent.
Well, no, because it's Japanese, last name first name second.
Yeah, and then you got to think about the English translation. Like, would the joke translate to English? I don't know.
I think they keep it pretty consistent. It's not like we go Zoro Roronoa, right? We keep it
fair.
Yeah. But then we got to think of a good dad's name, right? Because if we give Over to the mom, we can't just go like above, right? Like Bent on top. Bent in
below.
Prison, Bent below, yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah,
but we know it's the kid's first name, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, the parents are gonna go to good old Sommers pretty soon. It looks like a bunch of women are just gonna fight Sommers, huh?
Is that his dream come true?
I don't know, man. Like, what? Sommers is about to fight Bent's mom and Ripley. He's about to like 1v2 the moms of the series. Like, we're literally going to get Sommers the mom killer pretty soon.
Do you wish it were you? Just because Ripley's there?
Not really. You know, it pains me to see a beautiful lady get hurt. So I don't want to see Ripley get beaten like that.
Besides, she's a warrior. Equal lefts and equal rights.
I don't believe in that, brother. Like, you know, like I'm kind of like Sanji. Just don't hurt the women, man. Come on, what are we doing? I mean, for
just put
Summers it
them in
makes
the-
sense. Beat up Ben's mom, but not Ripley. Come on.
Yeah, Oda's there too. If he wasn't there, then he wouldn't have Bent's mom in an apron still. Why is she still in the kitchen?
Brago has a thumbnail which is really funny. He commissioned a thumbnail of like it was when we first met Ripley, and we saw Gunko's bandage ability. He got a thumbnail done where it's like Ripley bent over and she's like wrapped up in bandages.
Brago is such a farmer, bro. That's crazy.
No. The funniest thing is that off call we were talking about it and he was really confused because he didn't understand like the hubbub about it.
Oh, because he just had his multiple editors on the case, and so he just put it through the pipeline, and he just got the end product, and he's just so disconnected from the community, he didn't understand the joke. But
Yeah,
his
he
editor's
didn't
like,
understand the
trust
joke.
us, Brago.
Yeah. It wasn't even like an on call like farming thing. It was like off call. He's like, Sai, like, is something wrong with this? And I was like, I don't know, man. You tell me.
Let me look at these thumbnails.
It's
oh
old.
my
It's old.
god, this is a ranking Elbaf characters, and he has Gunko. This one's nice.
Yeah, Brago's thumbnails are really good, but I think he pays a lot for them. Like for me, man, I just pay for like a coloring and I just throw it together myself. But man, so we go on a little bit and we see Sommers, Killingham, and Emu have a conversation, and they just ask how far are they going to go, and that is when Emu says they're gonna go until the heart of Elbaf. Wait, what did they say? Until
That's
it breaks,
what the
the
Viz
heart
says.
of Elbaf. Oh, okay. Yeah. They're going to go until the heart of Elbaf breaks. This country would have been subjugated years ago, if not for Harold's miserable failure. So that's kind of interesting, right? It definitely paints the picture that Harold was working for the WG, even more so than not. And it kind of just brings back the question, did Harold betray the world government, or was he just never on their side in the first place? Or did he just lose a battle? Like maybe he was like the Kaido of the island and then somebody beat him. And then that was his failure. His failure was just not seeing his plan through.
I would argue that the Kaido one fits in underneath the other umbrella too, which is that like if the world government said Kaido failed, like the CP0 did, right? Then what would that really mean? Kaido wasn't working for the world government. He was, but his end goal was to take him down. And that's where like I think you and I still are in the bucket of Harold most likely sabotaging. He was working with them under the alternative is that he's really stupid. Like he was really dumb, I guess, because like the failure is kind of a simple one. If he was actively trying to be a part of the world government and he did what he did, then he's just silly, right? Like, and this is the failure. But I think the alternative, and especially with how I got to translate with TCB, the blunder, mistake, right? Like when you use that, it sounds like what Lily did and how they reference Lily. To this day, or at least when it was current, they reference as Lily's 800-year-old great mistake and making it sound like they didn't know if Lily did it on purpose or not. And it wasn't until they found out that Lily signed her letter as a D-Clan member that they were more or less like, oh, it wasn't a mistake. It was on purpose. And that's where they seem to be with Harold. Because Sommers is like, how could you be so silly, essentially, to talking about Harold? Like, why would you do that? Like, what a silly, like, they were kind of like, what a silly mistake, kind of, right? And so if you were to paint it the same picture as Lily, then, yeah, Harold was a D-Clan ally, essentially, a Joy Boy ally, or at least acting on their side of the board. Which also I like the translation of blunder because it sounds more like a board game, a blunder chess game. I like that word. But yeah, I'm on the boat that Harold was a double agent. He was working with the world government. He was trying to sabotage them, and by sabotaging them, he's like, yeah, sure, Elbaf will be under your rule, but they won't be the same warriors. They'll be educated warriors. I don't know what like his full plan would be. But both versions of that, where it's like diffusing the warrior race, but then also on the face of allying with the Holy Knights in the world government, someone who sees that as like from face value, like Loki, he'd be like, oh, my dad's betraying us, right? So that paints a picture of why Loki would be against Harold, but also paints the same picture of why Harold wasn't necessarily a villain and why Loki isn't necessarily a pure villain, because like, you know, if he knew Harold's true intentions, he would disagree with the method, but agree with his mentality, right? Like, oh, you are working against the scumbag world government, but we just disagree on the method. And that's more of like, that's a more normal stance, right? I don't think he would need to kill his dad over that, but it's because he probably saw, or Harold through one version of the other, like showed Loki the version that required himself to be killed, right? Because I think you also put out a possibility that Harold asked Loki to kill him, and that was a part of his grand plan. And per the dialogue we get later on, it could fit too. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Is that Harold probably was a ally, but it only went so far. He was using them kind of like Blackbeard. Blackbeard did the same thing, right? Blackbeard was using them until he didn't need them anymore, and it benefited himself. So
yeah,
there's a lot of ways you can spin it.
Harold was like, yep, I can't beat the world government normally, so I'm just going to do my best for the next generation. Just set them up, you know?
And if you think that's a stupid plan, then Blackbeard, one of the most efficient, intelligent, planning pirates, did that. But also Vegapunk. Vegapunk, the world's smartest man, did exactly that. We know that he did not want to ultimately align with the world government, as he undermined them every opportunity he could. But he literally said that to Dragon. He said that there's plenty of reasonable people you could work with within the system, Dragon. And Dragon's like, well, I tried because I used to be there, and I'm going to do this now. So Vegapunk, the world's smartest man, would have essentially did what Harold is doing in a way. And I think that that's what we're getting in many of the arcs, right? Like Doflamingo, Kaido, they were working with the world government, but they weren't working to meet their goals. Same thing with Big Mom. Big Mom was working with the world government too, but you'd be hard pressed to say that she wants what they want, right? She wanted her own thing. She wanted her own kingdom, and she used them to get her own kingdom, her own sovereignty, her own protection, and to the point that she threw parties and was inviting Cypher Pole agents when she knew that they were at the time. She only knew them as Cypher Pole agents, unless we take it as Big Mom knew that was Stussy, and is like, wait a second, you're Bakins, you're from the Rocks Pirate. What are you doing in the Cypher Pole thing? Right? Like, there's that world too.
I mean, there's also the world that she just didn't know that Cypher Pole was a thing yet, or like that Stussy was a Cypher Pole agent.
Yeah. But like, there's a weird thing there where she's like looking at her ex crewmate. Like, that'd be like seeing Nami, right? Like Luffy's like older, sees Nami in the thing, and it's like like, wait, are you not Nami? Like, and she's like, no, I'm Bami. Like, you know, like I'm just not Nami. Like, you know. But Big Mom probably had some kind of dialogue with Stussy. It's like, well, are you Stussy Buckingham? And she's like, no, I'm not.
And then Stussy was like a Mads clone, right?
Yeah.
And that was before Vegapunk started working for the WG.
Yes.
Yeah, so it could be that, like, you know, she's like, oh yeah, that's weird, but I heard Vegapunk made you, and then she just doesn't know the whole Cypher Pole part.
Yeah, there's that too. That's true. That's true.
So Big Mom wasn't probably like willingly inviting WG agents, unless it like.
Wait, didn't Stussy show up
on.
in her? No, she was the underworld.
Yeah.
At the time. Yeah. She wasn't in the white.
The underworld queen.
Yeah. That was a reveal later on.
Yeah.
Where she gunned the guy.
We go on a little bit, and we see that Scopper and Chopper are falling off. Chopper does a little air maneuver and just runs through farther down than Scopper's falling, and uses guard point to save him.
You said a little air maneuver?
Yeah.
I called it Gear 5, bro. Running on air? There's only one
it's some
person.
Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah, Chopper ate the human fruit. Is this him bringing out Gear 5?
Or it could just be Oda being a little bit quirky. Like,
But
bringing
has he
back some
ever
old
done
school
that
One Piece
before?
humor.
Has he ever done that? He had way more. You said old school One Piece humor. He's ever done that before in the old school.
Oh, you
This is
mean
the
it was
new
never
school.
acquired in old school?
No, all I'm saying is if it quacks like a duck, smells like a duck, it's a duck, right? Tastes like a duck. Chopper, do you think Chopper tastes like reindeer or human?
A reindeer.
Mm.
So what are you trying to
Well-
say? You're trying to say that Chopper got tapped into Gear 5th right here?
I don't know. He goes, but calm down, Chopper. You got this. You can do this. Make sure he pulls out. He taps into the max human potential. Pulls out, when Luffy goes like, I feel like I could do anything. Chopper's kind of saying that. And then he pulls out the Looney Tune Gear 5 running on air. All I'm saying is the last time we saw someone do that, they were a sun god.
Wait a minute. Okay, I gotta ask you now, yes or no? Is Chopper whipping out legitimate Looney Tunes abilities and is tapping into the god realm right here? Or is this just a funny gag? Yes or no? No 50 sentence long explanation like maybe not. No. Yes or no?
I'm gonna
Yes
say
or no?
yes because I have a video on this.
Okay.
This is a straight up.
That is
the
fair.
video
I respect it. Hey, I respect it.
The predicted that Joy Boy would be in a human fruit. This is way back in the day. I can't go back on that. And I said that, hey, Chopper's fruits kind of sus.
No, I agree. I
if-
think Chopper's fruit is very sus. I do not think Chopper has the human fruit either. I'm hesitant to call him a god or even say that this is Sun God Nika, but I'm on the boat that this is a gag. But I do agree with you that Chopper's fruit is going to be something else.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to like when Bonnie pulled out the Nika thing, whenever that came, every time we had that conversation, the character that I always brought up was Chopper. Because I always said, if Bonnie's power is the ability to bring out the potentials and she's a human, she's bringing out all the various human potentials, and Chopper has the generic human fruit, which puts him in this very close boat where he's literally been able to depict various human forms. Arm point, but like afterwards, his kung fu point is literally just the people on that island that he was on, and it's like we could just look at his power as the ability to bring out all the different human potentials. So if there was a character that was the closest to the spectrum of where Bonnie's at, where she literally can bring out Nika potential, I always said it was Chopper. And you're telling me that like Oda's giving it very like there's not many characters Oda gives this to other than like Buggy, right? Like Buggy's the other character that Oda does to, and Buggy's also in a crazy boat of where he's at, in similar to Luffy. So that's why I like, for me, like all notes aside, like seriously, I would look this as like this would be like one of those gags that Oda puts in as a gag, but it's really not a gag because like he didn't need to do this. You know what I mean? Like this is a moment where it's like, like why would Oda insert this gag with Chopper? I don't know. I feel like if he puts this with Luffy, Gear 5, and that was one of the indicator things of Looney Tunes, then I'm looking at this a little bit different, And this is consistent with the last conversation we had when it's like, what other humans can do Nika stuff? And we were talking about Bonnie, we're talking about other characters, and we're also talking about a world where just last chapter, talking about Reversi Domi Mami, where it's like, hey, is Luffy going to put the Nika cloak on all the characters? Well, who's the closest characters? I would say that Chopper as the human form or human fruit would be pretty close in a lot of ways, at least, especially with this recoil, which I hate. I hate that recoil. The old baby Chopper, like that stuff is so annoying sometimes. But like, there's another character that gets that weird recoil, and that's Luffy. So will be interesting. Will be interesting to see what Oda does with all that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I agree. I don't think Chopper has the human fruit as they showed for all this time, but I feel like this could just be a gag right here. It could be a hint, but I think it's more so just a gag.
Yeah.
But Forest God Chopper, that's like my bread and butter. I'm all about it. Bring it on.
Oh, I just think it's the human fruit. I don't think it's like a god thing.
I think it could even be like the primordial human, and the primordial human was just crazy too.
Yeah.
Because the
Or,
primordial
like,
human is very different from just human too.
Yeah. I would say human, just to me, just because Oda gave it the generic thing, it just means that whatever is humanly possible, Chopper's able to do. So Nika is underneath the human fruit. Anything lowest human to Nika, Chopper's capable of that because that's human. Any category of human, that is what Chopper is able to do. And that's like, if you tie that in with what Vegapunk said about devil fruits allowing people to access every potential thing, then sky's the limit. It's literally sky's the limit. It's just all about whether you believe in it or not.
Yeah.
That's why it's like when Oda gave Vegapunk that dialogue, that really like validated so much of these, like, the fourth hockey theories, right? Like the theories of, like, when I said, like, I still think it's crazy, even though there's canon evidence of it, which is that I said, like, in line with all these things, the video was saying Zoro would be a character that can naturally transform into an animal. And I was saying that there's going to be characters that aren't going to have devil fruits but can transform. And then we see them, whether, like, Reversi Domi is like a separation for the Gorosei. We don't know exactly how they work because they're the Gorosei, so they might have a different stipulation. But you know, when I was saying that, it's like, it sounds weird to say that at a time, but then Vegapunk said, like, all devil fruits are just windows of evolution for the people who use them, and the people, human potential, the evolution of humanity, essentially. So if the devil fruits are the evolution of humanity, and we have something like the string fruit, then what does that say? That says that anything is possible. If you have the whatever the craziest devil fruit you think it is existence, Vegapunk as the most reliable narrator for devil fruits at the moment is saying that that's the evolution of humanity. And if you tie that to Chopper's fruit being the human fruit, then he's saying that all devil fruits are humanly possible. The potential's there. It's just Chopper has to believe in it. So the more he sees, the more he recognizes is humanly possible, it becomes reality for Chopper. And this is actually a significant conversation because of the life denial, life return thing. Because when Chopper saw the unworldly power of semi-Kikan, Chopper rationalized it as biofeedback. And that was a huge spark for him, because biofeedback, he was seeing the guy manipulate his hair and body in this, like, crazy, unhuman way. And Chopper just rationalized it. Wait a second, this is possible. Biofeedback. It's essentially, if you biologically desire it, your body can feedback, like, the results. I'm messing it up, but essentially that. And he was basically saying that, yeah, semi-Kikan is humanly possible. Not only is he seeing it, but he's also mimicking it. And so there's an example of him seeing a power that has come back into prominence right now with the Gorosei, with Cypher Pole, using Life Returner, using this Domi Reversi thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Chopper being a good window into these powers, like Bonnie is, right? Like, it wouldn't be crazy if Bonnie sees this thing, is like, wait a second, I'm gonna Reversi myself, and turns into a demon. Like, she could probably do that too. Like, why not? So if I could see Bonnie doing it, I could see Chopper doing it. That's where I'm at, and that's where I've always been. So
yep, I have a whole video on that too, just talking about the possibilities of Chopper and tapping into all the humanities out there.
Yep.
I think that'll be in lieu with, like, even if he had a god fruit, that could be part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going on though, we see that the Straw Hats have left the scene, and that is when we get the Mosa conversation. And it just brings up the question again of who is Mosa, right? Loki gets a ring on the Den Mushi, and oh my god, I'm reading the viz. Shaggy, I'll be right back. I can you call us later? And he says, don't worry, it won't take long. As a matter of fact, I'm busy too. Just one thing. I wasn't able to tell you earlier, but I will be unable to call you for a while, I think. At first, I found it frightening, but the more you and I talked, the more our conversation became a source of solace to me. I wanted to express gratitude. And then Loki says, don't tell me, are you in danger again somehow? And he says, where are you in the viz? Whereas in TCB and other translations, they say this, it's that place, dot, dot, dot.
In that place, dot, dot, dot. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
so
Yeah, this
TCB makes it sound like Loki knows where Mosa is, whereas Viz makes it sound like Loki has no clue. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I gotta reread this because we read this like twice, even after the thing on stream, and like Shaggy, listen, I'm busy right now. Call back later. Shaggy is such a funny. I can't read this the same way with like because
Yeah,
like
Shaggy's
I was
just so
saying
odd.
how they're like star-crossed lovers, and now I insert Shaggy into the thing, and it's just kind of funny. But then in the Dendenmushi, it looks Shaggy. You know what I mean? What if it's?
But it's also a snow Dendenmushi, though, right?
We've never seen another snow Dendenmushi, so we don't know how they like per se look, right? Like that's where it is. I like to think that the snow Dendenmushi would be Oda's way to disguise how the person looks, right? Like, because if we knew that this person looked like this with the beard, then that already limits the options. So put the snow Dendenmushi, and then Oda can open up the options, right? And then, but then there's also the thing, because someone said, like, you know, the Dendenmushi always mimics what the person looks like, and that's not true either. The Dendenmushi doesn't always look. I think Oda even had an SBS like this. Dendenmushi chooses, like if it wants to, then it can.
Yeah.
So it's not always looking like the person. So Oda just like, it's annoying, but like this detail may not mean anything because it could just be how a snow Dendenmushi looks, or it could be how the person looks. Or another way to be looking at it is that like it could be that Mosa's not even the person's name. And Shaggy, the reason why Loki calls him Shaggy is because it's like a Luffy thing. That's his nickname for it because the Dendenmushi is Shaggy, right? Like, so he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna call you Shaggy because that's what you look like to me. Like, it could be something dumb like that. And I say dumb because I never thought about it until just now. Because I never thought about Shaggy like seriously like that. And I don't even know if I'm supposed to consider Shaggy seriously, but the Viz is really getting to me right now. And I'm seeing Shaggy over and over again. But says, don't worry, it won't take long. As a matter of fact, I'm busy too. Just one thing. I wasn't able to tell you earlier, but I'll be unable to call you for a while. I think those conversations solace. Want to express my gratitude. And then, yeah, they change it a little bit. So TCB goes, Loki goes, you didn't. That nasty business didn't crop up again. So like, that sounds like the last conversation that they had, that previous connotation of whatever happened Mosa was talking about happened again. Whereas in the Viz, it doesn't necessarily sound like the previous thing comes up again. He says, are you in danger again somehow? Like, almost the question mark is like, how are you even in danger? Why are you always in danger? Why are you a damsel in distress, bro? Like, that's kind of where it goes. And then goes, where are you? Which this entire thing kind of separates it from the previous thing, because the TCB, and I imagine the other translations also made it sound like it was a continuation off of the last conversation that they were having. Like, the place that Loki would have leveled is that place, and whatever reason Loki would have leveled it is the nasty business that Loki's referencing to. Whereas the Viz kind of separates it. He's like, are you in danger again somehow? That could be completely separate. And then where are you might just mean that like Loki has no idea where Mosa is, or Mosa's talking about, right? So yeah, that's interesting. I feel like Viz changed it a little bit for me.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the Raws.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust the Viz's translation here. It seems a little bit just odd in general.
I think the Mosa dialogue stayed the same more or less.
Yeah.
They just kind of like use
it's
synonyms.
Just Loki's
it's
dialogue.
Kind of like, yeah. It looks like they just like they handed in their work to the teacher, and they didn't want to show that they were looking too closely at the previous translation, and it just pulled out the thesaurus for Loki's thing. But then for Mosa's dialogue, that's what it felt like. For Loki's, some stuff changed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you had to lock in a guess right now as to who Mosa is, where would you go? I can tell you about the popular ones I've heard.
I like the owl off of stream. I still like the owl. At the end of the stream, there was a really funny one, and I think a commenter said like, "Par, you're really missing it on that potential thing that you last talked about." And I think the one that they're talking about is that the one of the translations said that it was Loki's, not Loki, like it was mother, like it was something mom. And then I was like, oh, what if this is Hajruden's mom? I like, as meme as that sounds, and I'm not gonna re-explain it on the stream. I cooked something up, and we tag teamed it a little bit, but that would be unironically really, really funny. If Loki was talking to Hajruden's mom this entire time. But yeah, I like the owl. I know some people are like, oh, it's a Heaven Realm person. That's not my favorite, mainly because like Heaven Realm is pointless at the moment. Like there's no point to the Heaven Realm. We've put no expectation for it. We put no like purpose for it. And there's also honestly no like there's no like, in terms of hierarchy for Elbaf, like there's no position for it either. So like it to me, if there was a person of importance in the Heaven Realm, it's kind of weird for a lot of reasons. Not saying it's impossible. I just look at the Heaven Realm at the moment more like the mural and the lab, like remnants of like eons ago, or like things that the Elbafians maybe don't understand and they're disconnected to. That's where I'm at, rather than like a village of very important, very strong and influential people, because like they've never been mentioned before. Like when they talk about Loki killing the king, you would think like, oh, and then the Heaven Realm came down and sorted this shit out. Like at some point they could have been mentioned, but they never been. So I don't know how that would really
could have been
in.
Like the Council of Elders that didn't want Hajruden's mom in the palace.
Yeah, it could be that. That would be interesting. But like if they were to have that much influence, and like they then surely would have been mentioned. Yeah, like, you know, like if it's just influence, then that's interesting, right? If it like another route would be like maybe the weapons makers, so they stay separated. I don't know, like they just, because like if this place is the war land, we have yet to find the people who make the weapons for the war, because you need to have weapons, and you know, I don't know. But then also
for some reason they're in the Heaven Realm.
Yeah, and then also they'd be like perforated. They'd be like Swiss cheese by now, because like at this point there's been so many lightning strikes within the arc we've been in. Half of them are dead. Like honestly, they're just dead. The Holy Knights teleported like 3 times, each time with insane lightning that like Scopper was like, oh no, I gotta go check this out. Let me go investigate this. And then Loki just hit Ragnar on the tree, and that lightning was massive. The Heaven Realm surely is like in dire straits at the moment, even though I guess the Heaven Realm dodged Loki one. But point is that the Heaven Realm's a weird angle. But what are the great options you've come up with, Sai?
So my main option that I've always kind of stuck with was the owl. Right now, yeah. I feel like this chapter made it seem less likely that it's the owl for me. But we'll
translation
see.
Based.
Yeah, translation based, right? Like, you're in danger again. Like, where are you? And it's like, well, okay, ignore the where are you from Viz. I don't think that's, like, canon at all. But, like, you know, overall, I just feel like the dialogue doesn't indicate that it's the owl just because Loki says again, right? Indicating that the situation is happening, like, one more time. And if that's the case, then that means that back in the past, the library was attacked or almost burned down, which... we have no inclinations to that yet, so that's why I avoid the owl topic right now. But I still like the owl. I feel like that's the only answer I really have. I'm just less confident in it. But online, I have seen a lot of other ones. People are saying that it's obviously X, Y, or Z character, and it's kind of crazy.
Ooh, hit me with that.
Believe it or not, Shirahoshi has a pretty big running right now.
You said that before. That was so silly.
I mean, hey, theories are silly in general. I bet people watch our videos and think our theories are silly, you know?
Yeah, and I'm hitting them back with their medicine.
Fair enough.
Take it.
Fair enough. I don't agree with Shirahoshi either. I feel like that doesn't make any sense. And then plus, like, you know, like, we have to remember that Mosa is a character that seems really bored. Like it seems like they don't like got much going on. Shirahoshi, I feel like, has a lot going on right now. And then like Danger again, like I just feel like it doesn't fit her. And then of course like the way of speaking as well, right? Like apparently according to Japanese translators like Sandman and a bunch of other people, Mosa speaks very much like nobility. Like they're very matter of fact, very polite. This does not fit Shirahoshi. If it was Shirahoshi, it'd be like sorry like 50 times before they get out a word.
No, not new Shirahoshi. New Shirahoshi stands on business, bro. She went to the heaven realm, technically.
Yeah, but she wouldn't be speaking like this, though. Like, the entire manner of speaking in the wordage is just very different.
What if this... Okay, hold on. As I said, it was silly, right? But, okay. Because this is
the number one Shirahoshi Mosa defender has awakened. The Par vision is open now.
Yeah, let me put my weight into the ring.
Time to defend Shirahoshi's honor as Mosa.
I would imagine this is funny because like I wonder if this has been used as defense, but like Shirahoshi's huge, bro. Like she has to have some giant lineage in her, right? Where did Neptune get so big? Where does that come from? It has to come from the giants, yeah? Like, what if Neptune has some kind of lineage? We talk about Otahime and the Poseidon ship, but like, there's probably giant lineage. What if Neptune in the post-time is like, hey, since we're talking about your lineage, my grandpappy hailed from Elbaf, and like, she did get in conversation with them. Like, that is kind of like Shirahoshi's like one of like, besides Neptune, of being huge, right? And they're in the royal family, which kind of, and Neptune isn't the royal. Otahime is the royal. Neptune is the previous royal knight, and he married into the royalty. So like it is kind of we know that there's hybrid fishmen. Neptune could be one of them, and maybe he's closer to like it wouldn't be that crazy to tie in him to Elbaf if we're like literally we started this arc realizing that there's more than one atom tree and that there's more than one island of giants. Maybe Neptune is there too. Like Hajruden's mom is from some other island that's not allowed to come here. I'd imagine Neptune's dad is probably the same way. We might find that Neptune's grandpappy is Yoru, and like that's why he doesn't have connections back here. I don't know. But separately to that, if you were to like tie in the dialogue, I mean, like the timeline doesn't fit because of Reverie, right? But like, are you in danger somehow? Maybe this is like the post Reverie Shirahoshi reaction, right? Like, because last we know that she talked to Garp, and Garp was like, you know, like don't take this, don't hate all of humans for this thing. Essentially, this is not how we behave. Essentially, that's kind of like Garp was saying, and he didn't want like Shirahoshi to lash out, kind of like insinuating that he knew that Shirahoshi was the ancient weapon, like a low key. A little bit, but maybe Shirahoshi was like she's rounding up for war, and she's like, I won't be able to talk anymore. And we see Shirahoshi mounting the offense against Mère Joie, and what we find out is that the true usurpers of the throne that Imu needs the reinforcements for is none other than the ancient weapon Poseidon. Dun dun dun. And then she's currently calling Loki at the moment for that.
So,
and I need to thank you for all this solace you gave me.
You know I gotta do it. Yes or no? Is this Shirahoshi?
No, it's not Shirahoshi.
Okay.
It's not even close,
right,
bro.
Right.
Bro, what the fuck? Shirahoshi, like what are the other people saying? Because my thing, like I feel like could make sense if Shirahoshi was a badass main character, but she ain't. And I don't want her to be, bro. Like her character is not.
She can be badass in like one or two moments, but I don't think she's that right now, and I don't think she speaks like Mosa. The nickname doesn't even make sense, right? Like, of course, yeah. Luffy, Loki, they scuff names all the time, but you don't go from Shirahoshi to Mosa. That's a little bit too egregious, even.
Yeah, we don't know what Shaggy could mean. Maybe they had some crazy phone calls, and maybe there's a part of...
We're seeing this as a nickname. Their name could be like Mabo, for all we know. And of course, he skews it to Mosa, and Mosa has nothing to do with like what the character actually is. We're just assuming it's Shaggy because the Viz says Shaggy.
Yeah.
For,
That's not
for
saying.
all we know, the name could genuinely just be Mosa.
It could be Samo. Or
like, that's the thing. Like, people are kind of looking deep into this, and I don't blame. I do the same thing, right? But we're saying that Mosa is a descriptor of the character, but that doesn't have to be the case necessarily. It could just be the guy's name. Like imagine we meet the character and it just says Mosa. Like, that is literally their name, and we're like, oh, like, so yeah, we were kind of looking into this for no reason. And then like hairless, they could be like a Rufus from Kim Possible, just a naked mole rat.
I think the other thing for me, personally, is that I'm gonna say I would like it, but like I also feel like, and I'm saying I would like it because like I didn't look too deeply into this part. I would like it for the person to be on the island because we emphasize that the Den and Mushi connection is limited. Like Elbaf in and of itself seems like more isolated in the first place, and I feel like we maybe the like Loki's making it's not an international call. I think it's a local call. How would Shirahoshi even get in contact with this dude?
Why is there a Den and Mushi from Shirahoshi in Elbaf anyways?
Yeah, and anyone for that matter. You know what I mean? Like because the other part of it is, I feel like in order to, I'm gonna just be egregious here, like riz up Loki. I feel like you have to know about giants. You have to know about Elbaf. Like Loki doesn't care about anybody else. I feel like. I think a huge question mark though is Loki's time off of the island. Like that would be the one thing that would kind of like give, if people made a valid theory, which you really can't, of talking about like Loki's time off of the island, the people he met, the friends he made along the way, and maybe this is a pen pal from back then, but that's not how it feels in the first place. You know what I mean? If that's not what it feels like, and everything that Loki's cared about has been Elbaf centric, right? Like when has he ever mentioned, and like, yeah, we haven't given him a huge opportunity to, but he seems like a nationalistic person, right? Like close the borders, like, that kind of thing. So like, that's where it's like, I feel like whoever he's talking to knows Elbaf. And in order to know Elbaf, yeah, you could be like a scopper. Sure. You could be in a Louis Arnaud. Sure. But like, I feel like it's someone who knows what happened to Loki too. And for that to be the case, I think it's Giant. I think it's someone on Elbaf minimum. Elbafian resident. Is there a possibility that someone off the island? Sure. But Shirahoshi, my girl doesn't know what's happening in her own kingdom. I think that she, like in terms of how we got Shirahoshi, she had a hard time connecting with the other princesses unless it was related to Luffy, right? So like that's where it's kind of, unless there's like a common ground, unless it's like rocks. Like maybe the person that Mosa knows rocks. Maybe there was the one person that liked rocks. That could be the connection. I could see that. I could like that. But I feel like there would have to be. I feel like it's Elbaf. I feel like it's Elbaf. That's where my instincts is telling me. Heaven Realm, even Heaven Realm. I would put someone in Heaven Realm above Shirahoshi. To be honest, are there other options that people are putting out there?
Oh yeah. This is a one guy. I'll bring up the one guy, then I'll bring up the other ones. One guy.
Who is the one guy?
I don't remember his name. Sorry, I don't remember usernames that well. Oh no, it's a YouTube commenter.
Oh.
He's been replying to like a lot of my videos saying it's Vivi.
You know what? Vivi? We have to ask ourselves, why didn't Vivi ever tie the knot with Koza?
It's because of Loki. Maybe, she's got some pubic hair and it's getting really shaggy.
Yeah, and listen, look. If the Dendenmushi reflects the speaker, if the snail looked like Loki, do you blame Vivi a little bit for getting a little rizzed up?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Fair. But what if it was a tatted snail?
I don't think it's Vivi, and unfortunately, they didn't really give any like reasons as to why it's Vivi. They just said it's Vivi. I don't think so. The timeline doesn't match up. Vivi's not exactly in. I mean, she is in danger, but she isn't in danger. She was able to call like whoever Mosa is called Loki a while ago, and now they can't call again. And then you have to imagine Loki's been chained up here for 6 years. We don't know when the phone conversation started, but they're so friendly with each other. You could assume they were talking for the past 6 years. 6 years ago, Vivi was a Baroque Works agent?
Oh, sorry, you're not seeing the vision. We know about the millions and the billions, but what about the trillions? And what if all the trillions was one character? Would Loki single-handedly embody the trillions?
Yeah, he's
power?
Crocodile's underling from Alabasta.
Yeah.
I don't see Vivi. I don't think the timeline matches up, which I didn't talk about the timeline a lot, but whoever Loki's been talking to, man, it's not like they just picked up the phone yesterday. Like, they must have been talking for a while. Like, years, possibly. I think 2 years at minimum.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Loki would just hate Vivi too. Like, because like Loki's the type of sacrifice his best friend animals. Vivi's like, no deaths in the war in Alabasta, and Luffy had to slap her ass, bro.
Yeah, she's like, nobody's gonna die today. It's like, no, people are gonna die, Vivi. Like, don't be stupid. This is war.
Like, hell,
open your eyes.
I had to watch my friends be strangled in front of me. Like, Vivi's like, you didn't do anything.
The whole take. It's like the Twitter argument. It's like, but it's fantasy. Why can't everybody live on both sides of the war? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
People fight about that all the time. Like, can you blame me? It's a fantasy world. I want nobody to die. It's like okay.
Yeah.
Another popular one.
So that was XY. Who is Z?
Yeah. So this one is right behind Shirahoshi in terms of popularity. I'm gonna put two characters here because there's like a fourth option that people are kind of rallying behind, but they kind of fit under the same umbrella. But they're saying it could be Koala of the Revolutionary Army, and the character that gets added to this is Morley.
Wait, so Koala's greater than Morley? Because I heard Morley on stream and I didn't like address it.
Koala is greater than Morley.
Whoa,
yes.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the Morley hype train is crazy somewhere, but I've really just seen Koala. Morley's there, but the people who vote for Morley, they're not as loud as Koala fans.
Why Koala? I feel like Morley because Morley's a giant, so like Morley makes a lot of sense. But like not thematically, but like positionally, right? Like if there was a single Rev to be tied to Elbaf, I would put money on the giant, even if they made no sense, over Koala, who was a slave for most of her.
Like, so funny.
Like, I don't know. Like,
to be fair, though, the people who voted for Koala, I think they did argue their point pretty well. So I can't hate the Koala theory. I just don't think it's Koala. I just feel like the dialogue just wouldn't match. And then, of course, like when you take into consideration like how, how much like nobility they speak, how high class they seem, Koala doesn't talk like this either.
Yeah, neither does Morley.
Yeah, neither does Morley.
Yeah, and then people brought up like, Par, what if this is Dragon? And I was like, I just started laughing. I was just like, bro, like
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Dragon said, at first, I found talking to you frightening. Loki, I was scared talking to you. Like, dude, the dragon stocks will... No, don't put dragon. Don't put dragon here.
No, people... Because then I started laughing and I said, listen, like Revs... Like, why would the Revs be talking to Loki? And then I thought about it, I was like, Loki, the person they would be talking to is Loki if they thought Herald. Because if the reality was... They got the news that Elbaf was talking to the world government and it was Herald, then they would treat him like a country that needs to be saved, right? Like they would look at it like, oh, we need to liberate this country. They're about to fall into the world government hands. We need to stop that. Who would be their greatest ally? It would probably be Loki. And that's a weird thing to talk about. But like, yes, like from the Rev standpoint, Loki would be their greatest soldier. But no one in the Revs makes sense for this call. Not a single person I can think of. Like, Sabo? No. Like, listen, guys, I know I'm biased, but from the choices that was pushed onto me right now, it sounds like you guys are biased too. I said that this is like a booty call, like Loki's romantically involved. I heard Vivi, Shirahoshi, like Koala. There's not a single dude in this list. You guys added Morley in there. And I'm like, bro, like these are all girls. And at the end of the day, like Dragon sounds silly too. And it's not even for the girl part, but who else in the revs would it make sense for him to talk to? Moda? Like, I don't know. Like, it's like Moda's just like, oh, if I was there, I would level the whole place. You mean like Emu did to Leloucia? Like, it would sound like trauma. Like Loki's words would not give anyone solace, I feel like. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting spot of where this person is, because like originally when we're talking about the example that Mosa was talking about, it sounded like, oh, the fight that Loki was in or whatever Mosa was in, and none of these other characters really fit in. It really, I don't know. I can't be sold too hard on the XYZ popular choice. Shirahoshi, Vivi, Koala, Morley. I feel like this character is going to be a new character. I like.
What about Yarl? That's another. Actually, Yarl's like the most popular one.
Number one. Yeah.
Yarl is like number one for people.
Yeah, the world's oldest warrior. At first, I was frightened about you, Loki. Imagine.
At first, I was pissing my pants talking to you, but
when you were born, I was with your older
different.
brother. And I thought you were going to be a wimp coward just like him. But then you grew to the age of 8 and you curb stomped Hajruden, and I got scared of you. I've never seen a giant like you in my days. And then you killed all 99 of the Knight's Guards and our king. And I was worried to talk. Why would Yarul be talking to his ass, bro? Like, like imagine Yarul, like, he's just lonely. Like his wife passed away. He just and wants to.
You gotta imagine, bro. Like, you know how crazy this is? Like, Yarl, in the position he's in right now, the kids are being kidnapped. Emu is here. The Holy Knights are here. Monsters are coming out of the forest. And Yarl's like, let me call my best friend Loki real quick. I gotta tell him I won't be able to talk for a while. And then Loki says, oh, it's that nasty business again? Yarl? It's like, yeah, no, it's not. It's not Yarl. Which is crazy. Like, I haven't heard any good reasons why it's Yarl.
Other than the beard.
The only thing is the beard. And that could just be the Denden Mushi being snow resistant and ice resistant.
Yeah.
There's no good reasonings as to why it's Yarl, but it's funny because whenever I see a theory about Mosa, it's like, guys, I don't think it's Yarl. Like, that's how people have to preface it. Like, guys, hot take, I don't think it's Yarl. And it's like, wait a minute, when did Yarl become like the number one pick with no real reasoning other than the fact that he has a big beard?
Yeah, and you also have to remember, like, when the Denden Mushi transforms, he would also become old and decrepit. And honestly, it'd probably get the sword.
You said it
in
yourself. The Denden Mushi doesn't always take after the user.
That's what I'm saying. Like that. This is the instance where the snail's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna transform into a 400-year-old old man. What if I get stuck?" And then they would probably have the sword in its head too. So it's like, I feel like this is the one time the Denden Mushi's like 100% valid. I ain't transforming, bro. So yeah, Yarl doesn't make sense too much either. Like the only thing is aesthetic, and even that's like that's like a not the strongest pillar
argument.
Like to stand on. Yeah, I like the owl. I still like the owl, even with the danger again. And I know what you're with the previous translations. I get why you steered away from the owl. I feel like I understood it a little differently, so that's why it's like the owl still is like, I feel like it makes sense, but also like I know that it could very easily just not be the owl and just be a different character, like a new character, like that. Could easily just be
I think new character is also really high up there. I think new character might be like number one for most people too. And the thing is, like, I didn't touch on this with Koala, but you know, they're like, oh, Koala, the nasty business was her being a slave at bourgeois. You know, Koala heard that the Holy Knights, like you said, Holy Knights are here, and that's why the Revs attacked. But first up, that would be like fast movement, by the way. Like, literally, you hear the Holy Knights are here, and then in less than a day, the entire Rev army is up there. That's insane. But also, like, my thing is, like, how did Koala get a Denden Mushi here? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, you have to explain Denden Mushi, and then you also have to explain why they've been talking to Loki for so long. Like, is this like a prison pen pal thing? Like, I lean more towards Owl, if I had to be specific, and then just new character if not. And I think it's probably from the Heaven Realm. And the reason why is just because, like, okay, they dropped a Denden Mushi, it landed here. It just fits.
I'm gonna throw in the Alpha and Omega. You ready for this?
Go
the
for
options. You gave me X, Y, Z. I'm gonna hit you with the Alpha and Omega. Okay, so the Alpha choice would be: do you think that this person could be? And I want to throw into beforehand of why I was like, maybe, but like I don't see that. Obviously, these aren't like real choices, but like if it weren't a new character and someone we could actually theorize about, the Alpha choice would be like, could it be like Louis or not? Is this like Oda's way to introduce that character?
I love the Louis Arnaud theory. I've seen that before. I think that's a great theory. I just have nothing to go off of.
Yeah, that's why it's like it's a new character, but it's someone who's established, and it's someone who's mysteriously connected to this place. And Loki being connected to them, you know, is pretty interesting. Like the alternate, like someone who knows the Rocks pirate. Like I feel like maybe Louis and Arnaud was like of that era, knew of that stuff. Like that could be because like the conversation between this person and Loki, I feel like there has to be common ground. If it's not Elbaf itself in like the royal family and that kind of stuff, then the Rocks pirate to me is where, like if I were to think like Luffy, if Luffy were someone who's like in a foreign place, I'm not saying Loki is in a foreign place, but let's say he's isolated and he's like talking to somebody, the easiest way to get to Luffy's heart would be Shanks. So like that's why I'm like, okay, if this person knows rocks, then maybe that's a good place to be in. And then that's what kind of led me to my Omega option, because Louis or not, like you said, like that's an option. Can't really. Saying Louis or not is the same thing as saying a new character, just putting a name on him, right? Like that's basically the same option to me. But the Omega option, and this one obviously it doesn't have like it's not without holes, but I was thinking like, what value can someone have from Loki? Because Loki's like I'm not saying that you need to get value, right? Person getting solace, and it's like, but like what if there was some kind of informational trait and it's not Elbaf related? And the one thing that Loki said, and we still don't know what this means, but he was gonna trade it with Luffy, was Shanks's location. He had Shanks's location, which is huge. If you had Shanks's location, that's something the Gore say, that's something the Holy Knights, that's something a lot of people would be like, yo, I want that. I would trade a lot for Shanks's location. Tell me that. And when I'm thinking about characters who insert themselves in crazy ways and we're like, how did he even put himself in this position? It's Blackbeard. And like Blackbeard is a character that is weirdly tied to rocks. He's literally on Hachinosu. He's a character that's weirdly tied to rocks in so many ways. He could create a middle ground with Loki. I'm not saying that the person he's speaking to is Loki, but we do have like Luffy. Luffy is commonly someone who like sneaks into places, like he literally snuck into Meridraw, the Holy Land, to make Blackbeard a warlord. So like if we're talking about someone who inserts themselves behind the enemy lines, establishes comms, like Blackbeard's crew is kind of crazy for that. And if we're talking about someone who has weirdly been going over Shanks's head, it would be Blackbeard. Blackbeard's literally like when Shanks has thought he was going to go to Wano, Blackbeard going to go to Wano. How did Blackbeard dodge Shanks? How has Blackbeard dodged Shanks all this time? Maybe he's been getting the info from Loki. Like that would be a really crazy way for that to be established. Now there are other ways, obviously, but as far as like outside of Elbaf, someone who has inserted themselves and has the knowledge and is tied to things that Loki's interested to, Blackbeard's kind of fits a lot of the check marks, as weird as it is. And he does have characters that do have like royalty, not royalty, but like, you know, that's ability to even mimic. Like Katarina Devon could be a character, right? Like it could be that. It could be Luffy. It could be a lot of characters. San Juan Wolf might know some things too. He's a giant. There's some ways that like even characters on the crew could be helping here. So there's a weird route where this person is connected to Blackbeard. And it could also be the way that Blackbeard ends up showing up. If we're talking about someone whose hands are busy, we don't know what Blackbeard's currently undergoing, but he is kind of busy. He just has Garp. He's going off somewhere. He just got his hands on Caribou. So maybe Blackbeard, someone on Blackbeard's crew. I don't know if I'd say that's my highest bet, but I'd put that above Vivi for sure. I think I'd put that above Koala.
I think I'd put that above the 0%ers.
Yeah, like I mean, hey, you said those are XYZ of the internet. I'm putting that above the internet right now. Like, am I putting that above what was the X one? Shirahoshi? Yeah, I'm putting that above Shirahoshi. That one's probably the most plausible of the silly ones, but still, I'd put Blackbeard above that because he's a character that literally every place you could think of, he was there last arc. Why would that change this arc? He could be there. When we were like, is he on Egghead? We saw a ship, and then at the end of it, they got a Gorosei's form. That's crazy, bro. If you were to tell me like how did he get onto the thing? I don't know. He'd find a way. Warp fruit. Luffy flew in here. San Juan Wolf walked. Like, would San Juan Wolf be turned away from Elbaf? I don't know. I don't think so. Right? Like, be kind of interesting. There's a lot of options, to be honest, for Blackbeard.
Yeah, I don't think it's Blackbeard or Blackbeard affiliated. I think I'd put more stock on another theory, which would be that maybe
Sigma.
Yeah, that I mean, again, new character, but it could be somebody from the Holy Land, just like a celestial dragon, or maybe a slave, or maybe even a holy knight.
Oh, are you on the Gunko theory?
No, the Gunko theory's also awful.
Wait, no, it's not. Like you had an S word locked and loaded there. The Gunko theory's what, Sai?
Awful.
No. You started with an S. You said
no.
You specifically said the people who think it's Gunko are. What? What was that?
You know, I think if you thought it was Gunko 5 months ago, that's fine. If you think it's Gunko today, no. And the reason why I say 5 months ago is that's mainly because like we knew nothing about Gunko. No devil fruit, no powers, no dialogue, no nothing. Sure, it could be Gunko. Blank slate. It's one of those things where like a theory, people will look back at theories and say that's a bad theory. But you have to keep in mind like when the theory was made. That is always very important. With the information we had at the time, the Gunko theory was not bad. I believe Luna Pien has like a whole like a theory about this, right? Just like a whole video just talking about why it could be Gunko.
Who's Luna Pien? New creator?
Dusk and Dawn.
Oh.
Yeah, Dusk and Dawn.
The name revealed?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So they have like a whole video talking about Gunko being Mosa. But that was when we first saw Gunko. Like literally, you see this character, the name's Gunko, made the theory. Time has passed. Things have happened. More dialogue dropped. Gunko Emu, Gunko Brook. The Gunko theory doesn't make sense anymore. That is simply how it is. But there are still people who believe that is Gunko. I was like, okay, like let's say it is Gunko for 1 second. How is Gunko talking to Loki with the Dendemushi? People say it's telepathy. They're using telepathy to hack into the snail's mind. And that's how they're talking to Loki. How'd they get the Dendemushi here in Elbaf? Well, Gunko teleported. Maybe she teleported and dropped a Dendemushi to Loki. A little bit odd, but sure. But now, like, the hard thing to talk about is this chapter's dialogue. How does any of this fit Gunko? And of course, the manner of speaking as well. You cannot forget the manner of speaking. I think a lot of people kind of drop that. But, in this chapter, the nasty business that's about to pop up, the fact that Gunko won't be able to call Loki again. How did she know? Because even when Gunko got turned into Emu, that was like, it was a snap of a finger. Gunko didn't see that coming. So what you're saying is that Gunko had that conversation, said goodbye Loki, ran towards Brook, and then got snapped right away. Like, that doesn't fit. I feel like the Gunko theory at the time, sure. Today, no. It's dead and gone.
So you brought up so we did the Alpha, Omega, and then the Sigma theory was that it's another Celestial Dragon. So Holy Knight separate to this. Do you think that specific person, if that was the case, they're a defector of the Holy Knights? Like, they're against the Holy Knights? Like,
it
Loki
could be a defector.
Them?
Or it could even be like the man marked by flames even. Maybe it's somebody who has to work with the WG and not exactly a Holy Knight, just like a special person's.
How about this? I got a great. This would be the what Greek alphabet letter what theta? This would be the theta option. Okay. Yarouge. Dun dun dun. He was too afraid to show up in the series, but talking to Loki gave him sauce, and now Yarouge is gonna come to the forefront and show out.
Rouge, the #1 love maker in the world.
Yes. He loves gambling, alcohol, and lovemaking, right? Was the big three, right?
Yeah, those were his 3 things.
Oh my god, and who would love that? Loki, Giant. They love alcohol and gambling. And look at how many giants there are. Lovemaking. Look at that. Boom, you're Rouge. And he's kind of shaggy. And he grows. Mosa growing. Yarouge grows into a giant. Is this Yarouge on the other end of the call, Sai?
Is this what we've turned into?
What do you mean?
Is this what it's all come down to, Par? Just we're touting a Rouge theories now?
This isn't the lowest bar. There's no shot you think that Yarouge is lower than Morley on the spectrum of options here.
I think it's pretty low. I feel like it's just gonna be a brand new character, man.
Yarouge might as well be a brand new character though.
It's crazy.
Here's the thing. You know how like a character gets introduced in like a TV show, right? The voice actor. Right, and then they get reintroduced like 20 years later. They show back up, and we change the voice actor. If Yarouge came back and he looked nothing like the Yarouge from Saba Odi or whatever, no one would bat an eyelash. We're like, "Yep, that's Yarouge." Like we just got like he doesn't look anything like he doesn't have like the same hair. He has like curly hair. He looks like Cavendish a little bit. People are like, I don't really remember Yarouge. You know what I mean? Like, Yarouge might as well just be a new character. Oda could recast Yarouge and then be like, yeah, it's been a few seasons. It's fine. Couldn't get the same actor in drawing.
Yeah, no.
Oda did an update. Visual update. League update. Patch.
It's not. There's no way it's a Rouge, bro. I feel like I feel like even we didn't get like a good guess as to like who Mosa is. Like,
I like
you
the
know,
owl over
I
Rouge.
like the owl theory too. Don't get me wrong. That's like my bread and butter right there. I think the owl theory is great, but I feel like there's certain things that kind of work against it right now. But, you know, like I said, if I had to just put it down somewhere, it would be with the owl. But
what if it's
I don't
Kaido?
know, man.
His long lost little brother.
Yeah, we're cooked.
What?
Okay.
You're in danger again.
We're so
is
cooked.
Kaido fighting?
So we go down a little bit more. Luffy sees Scopper, realizes that he's the Pirate King's guy. They actually called them the wings of the Pirate King. Kind of crazy, huh? He said him and Rayleigh were known as the wings of the Pirate King.
Damn, we bringing it back.
Yeah, would he be the left wing or right wing?
Left wing.
Yeah, left. No. He's the left hand. Make him the right wing. And then Rayleigh's the right hand, but the left wing.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Cross him over.
Pretty funny. We have like some dialogue here where I believe it's Hardin who's like, yeah, by the way, he was like the 3rd strongest on the crew. And then he comes back to life for like 2 seconds to throw up his fingers saying I was the 2nd strongest. I was number 2.
Really fixated on that detail. I love that. That was my favorite. I thought it was a meme. I thought I got a fan translated a panel there. I was like, no way, this is real. But then I realized and I saw it again that he was actually holding up, because you can't lie. If he wasn't holding up the two, it literally seems like a Twitter panel that someone made. Someone just took out the thing. I was the second strongest. I was like, no way. He does. I'll give you that. Like, it was pretty fun, especially the way TCB translated. He couldn't let that comment slide. It literally, that sounds like a Twitter thing. Viz made it sound more natural. He seems really fixated on that detail, right? But yeah, second strongest. What do you think? I know you and Brago have been clashing over this last.
Not really
few
clashing.
Weeks. You said it was a long, lengthy. I think you guys said you had an entire video on this last week.
We were just like discussing like who's stronger between him and Rayleigh.
And you were actually coming to bat for Rayleigh. No, you were saying that he was saying that they're equal, and you were like, nah. I mean, like I thought about it like this, and this.
No, he didn't. He didn't say that.
No, you said that. You said that Brago said that they were probably like a Scopper was stronger.
He didn't say that at all.
Oh wait, what? I'm pretty sure on the Parcast you said that.
No. We were on the same page.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
You're just okay. You're just creating the headcanon. Yeah, no. I feel like the normal opinion is that Rayleigh was stronger. Scopper's strong too. It's like Zoro and Sanji. Like they're literally neck and neck.
Yeah.
I think that's like the play here, right? It's like the whole thing. Zoro's 98. Sanji's like 97. That's pretty much what we were saying. Yeah, there's nothing really to it. I feel like that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's like it's just the Sanji Zoro gag. Like they're neck and neck. They have a constant rivalry going.
Yeah.
I feel like, but I do agree, like Scopper's feats on paper are just a lot better. But at the same time, we haven't really seen Rayleigh go all out or fight or do anything crazy. So, that's just what it is. Like, you put Rayleigh in this situation, I'm expecting him to perform the exact same as Scopper.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, because Scopper's like active, because like Rayleigh is not really, he wasn't really in the story. Like he was just gambling, ship coder, whereas like Scopper is currently regarded as like the strongest person on Elbaf. Like every giant slobs on his knob, So like, do you think that Scopper now has the head over? Or
maybe, yeah, if you put it like that, like, yeah, Scopper's training, still fighting every day, Rayleigh isn't. Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's just tough because like I don't really look at the current day versions. I more so look at like back when they're in their prime. I haven't really thought of like the old version of themselves that much.
Or like the current version, like if they were to see each other currently.
Yeah, but I mean, you could also say that maybe Scopper retired too. Like he was the strongest guy in Elbaf. He would beat the giants earlier, but years have passed. Who knows how old that saying was, right?
Oh, I think they currently regard him like that.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but like, maybe he was even stronger like a long time ago too.
Yeah.
Like they don't really put up the notion like, oh, Scopper just got out of a battle yesterday. Scopper proved he was the strongest last week. Like we don't know like when they come up with that notion.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall though, like I think it's true. Like, yeah, Rayleigh. I mean, it goes back to their namesake, right? Gold, Roger, Silver, Rayleigh, Scopper, which is a play on words of copper. You literally just remove the S. So gold, silver, copper. That's just that's usually the tier. So I'm not gonna break the tier and say that Scopper is higher than silver. That just
copper is used more.
It is used more. Yeah, that's true. But in terms of value, nah.
Yeah, so, in terms of value.
Copper Scopper here. He says, yeah, guys, like we really need you upstairs. The children were taken hostage by a couple of bad guys. Nobody can do anything to stop them. There are giant monsters rampaging around, and boom, conquers Hockey Lightning. And that is when we get all the reactions, and they're just gonna go up to the Sun Realm right away. They all felt it. I think this is kind of what we were like looking forward to with Shamrock, right? Like when Shamrock was fighting Loki, when Shamrock spawned in, when the other Holy Knights spawned in, everybody was wondering, like, yo, like, why did the Straw Hats not notice it? But here we have it. Odo's probably just waiting for the biggest Conqueror's Hockey Lightning to show the scale, right? Like, oh, the Holy Knight showed up. The Straw Hats couldn't sense it because it's massive, but it's not as big as this.
Can you read the new chapter context now? The line
from who?
It hits so hard. The title of the chapter from Luffy.
Oh! Save your breath, Chopper. I get the idea.
Save your breath, Chopper. Shut the fuck. Like,
that makes sense.
Like,
here.
stop explaining it.
I feel like this fits really well, actually.
It's just so funny because like when the way it goes, right, is Chopper says what he's saying, then the hockey shows up. Chopper's not saying anything anymore. Hajruden's talking, and Luffy goes, "Save your breath, Chopper," and it's like Chopper's like, I'm my breath is being saved over here.
No.
Captain.
In the Viz, Chopper was still talking though.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. What do you mean?
He was. Look at that. He says there are giant monsters rampaging around and ... And then that's when the Conqueror's Hockey Blast comes in. So he was going to continue on. And then Luffy says, like imagine this conversation, right? There are giant monsters rampaging around and save your breath, Chopper. I get the idea.
You're right. The Viz W here gives TCB.
Yeah, Viz W. Yeah.
A bunch of enormous monsters are running amok too. And that's the end of the thing. What Chopper says. And then Luffy goes, Chopper, that's enough. I've got this. Okay.
We don't really sing the Viz praises that often, but right here they kind of cooked. Not bad, Viz. Syv and Par, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you did it again.
Did it again.
Wait, there are giant monsters rampaging around, and what do you think Chopper's going to add? He already said children are taken hostage by a couple of bad guys, and nobody can do anything to stop them. There are giant monsters rampaging around, and what do you think Chopper's next lines were?
Oh,
there's a hot lady bandaged up there.
I don't think Syv and Par really thought that through.
Oh,
yeah. Because I feel like Gunko was I feel like Gunko is covered by the couple of bad guys, right?
Yeah.
Unless he just means Killingham and Sommers, which be a little bit weird. Just two guys. Just you include Gunko, especially since Gunko was right next to the kids.
Hot lady up there. Like he could have emphasized the hot lady, but I don't see that.
Yeah. He dials it back. Did I mention? And one of them's a lady. Like I don't think that's what Chopper was gonna say.
I think he could. He might have added.
Oh wait.
Honestly, I would have said this first. Wait, what?
He could just say like, and the library's on fire. Maybe that's it.
And and the and continues
there we go.
On to the next page. Oh no! Wait, in the TCB on the panel with the hockey, it says and on top of all that.
Oh shoot! Wait, TCB initial W. Okay, dial it back.
Yeah.
Viz loses it.
Yeah, Viz loses hard, bro, because they did and. Oh, that's so lame.
Chopper Viz did and for Chop. No way. What? They gave Chopper a stutter. They gave Chopper a fucking stutter. Syv and Par. What the fuck?
They gave Chopper. Oh no!
No way.
And like that's what Chopper and the Viz goes. Nah, TCB.
TCB cooked. Yeah, never mind. Oh
this
man.
This is what the Steve Harvey Miss Universe thing, right? That's what happened. He gave the wrong person the W. That's what happened. I apologize.
That's crazy how that happens, huh? Just like 1 minute you think you're about to praise the Viz translations, and then Syv and Par rips it out of your hands. Like you're about to hand Syv and Par a silver medal, and then boom, he rips it out and gives you a copper one.
Yeah, I think that like,
and then Syv and Par says, "Actually, I'm the second best translation, not the first."
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, Syv and Par throws up the number 2. Chopper says this twice.
Oh yeah, he acts like Chopper. Like, you don't praise me, you bacayero. Like, oh yeah, it's perfect.
I'm not done fumbling my translations. I mean,
Yo,
thankfully, you know what, dude? What they should have done, this would have been so funny. The guy who translates JJK into English, John Weary, they should have hired his ass onto the One Piece team, brother. I don't know. Okay, so just in case you guys do not know who John Weary is of Viz English, in JJK, he would often forget the names of characters and get them switched up. And not just that, but he doesn't know how to translate a lot of Japanese words, so he'll just add in like gobbledygook, or just he'll add in words that don't make sense. He doesn't know how like the world of JJK even works. Like, imagine in One Piece terms, imagine if we get that panel where Luffy's talking about how did I know it was Chopper. Imagine Sanji right afterwards says, you must have known because of your armament hockey, Luffy. Like, that is the type of shit John Weary would translate. Like he would just butcher everything. Like, because John Weary does not know how curse techniques work. John Weary doesn't know about abilities. He doesn't know what a black flash is. He doesn't know the names of half the characters. Imagine we got that guy here for One Piece. Dude, I mean, where did John Weary go? Like, after JJK ended, like, did he just get fired? I don't know, man.
There was some pretty egregious things.
Dude, we need to bring his ass on a One Piece. That'd be so funny.
Yeah. Which with One Piece would be like a nightmare for him, because like the moves, like the puns on top of puns. He like when we got the thorn salation, we were memeing on that because we were like, the briar barrier sounds more sense. He would have said something along the line of spiky round shield object. Like he wouldn't even. No, the thing is, he wouldn't even translate it. He would just look at the pictures and try to translate it from the picture. Like,
I looked up John Weary JJK, and comparing his translations to the TCB is so funny. Sukune is looking at Miguel, and he says, he says, I could beat Miguel in linear movement, but I would lose in point movement. Do you know what that means?
I remember the manga, and that's so funny. It's just so funny because that's just,
TCB translates that as I'd win the marathon, but he would win the sprint.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense than point versus linear movement. What does that even mean?
Because they were talking about the like he was trying to drag out the fight because it was like the cursed engine. His like cursed engine was like tapped out because he did the thing with the Yuta or whatever, right? That's what he's talking about. Yeah, and like you can get that from the TCB, but you cannot get that from what the fuck Tom Weary was saying. John Weary, whatever. Weary.
What is this line?
My God.
There's like a whole compilation of like John Weary scuffs. There's one where like Sukune becomes like fully human, or like he becomes like his true form, and they call it a curse taking fleshly form, which he had purposefully interrupted before. What is John Weary doing, man?
That being said, I realize that Chopper did miss two things, and I feel like that would have been valuable information for Luffy. And he could have said, and on top of all that, and the reason why I'm saying on top of all that probably into the second option is that the first option would be, and the Straw Hats are all captured. Like Chopper could have mentioned that, hey, the crew is all captured.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. So like,
because he said the kids, but he didn't say, and then that would be like, hey, Luffy, you probably know our entire, like, Luffy didn't even ask, like, wait, what happened to Nami? What happened to Robin? What happened to Frankie? Well, Frankie, we don't. Well, we do know Frankie's like there now, but Chopper doesn't know that because he left.
It's kind of funny that it's just kind of funny thinking about all of this and how they were traveling with Chopper and Scopper over like a mountain and a ridge before Chopper started divulging this very important, minute by minute changing situation to Luffy.
Yeah, 'cause, like,
imagine that. Like, imagine the, like, you know, obviously this is real world logic put in the world of One Piece. It doesn't work. I get it. But just imagine how funny it is. Like, Chopper knows everything bad going down in the Sun Realm. And for, like, the next 5 minutes, Chopper just sits here like this.
Even worse than that.
And then, like a Pokemon, after Luffy says something, he's like, oh, by the way, Luffy, everything's going to hell. It's like, okay.
You know,
Thanks,
and that's why it's even
Thanks for
worse,
waiting.
because they had Scopper the entire time, and it wasn't until that, what? This is Scopper? They had people, like, Hajruden was with them. They didn't find out he was Scopper until they arrived. You would think that when they got to Scopper, he'd be like, wait, this old man, you know what I mean? And then they would have found out when they arrived, right? So this old timer is popular around here. Good job saving him, Chopper, right? That conversation should have happened when they got there, right? And then while they were traveling is when they go, wait, this guy's in the Rogers crew? What could have put him in this condition? And Chopper naturally tells us along the way. But they waited to be like, wait a second, this is Scopper. Wait a second, who put him in this state? Wait a second, what's happening up there? Everybody fumbled in terms of bringing this. They just stayed silent. They said no conversation when the radio's on, bro. This is my favorite song going on. And like, they didn't interrupt it.
Yeah.
And like, that's where on top of all that, when Chopper says that in the TCB, not in the Viz, because in the Viz they again have Chopper stuttering, is that I think the on top of all that probably was going to be like, and they're immortal, which also is probably like, and on top of all that, they're immortal, and this is the only guy who can kill them. And they're like, what? Nani? Like, that probably would have been the most important on top of all that, is that our opponents are immortal. Like, I feel like that's really important information. But instead we get Luffy going, shut up, Chopper. I already get it. Like,
you know, it'd be so funny if Luffy goes up to the Sun Realm and he's like, wait, what's going on up here? After he says, I get the idea, he goes upstairs like, what the hell? Nobody told me about this.
I've been trying to tell you. Trying to tell you in all of our commutes. But apparently we have a no conversation during commuting rule.
Crazy rule.
So,
I hope it gets overturned.
no conversation. Oh god. We need to do like a vlog, like an IRL vlog. We meet up, and then our insider joke is that when we're in commute, like while we're driving to a place, we just stay silent. Like, we're still
stupid. That's so fucking stupid, dude.
And then, like, when we come to plan, like, what are we gonna eat? We wait until we get to our place.
Yeah, we wait till we get to a place before we say. Well, I mean, we couldn't talk during the car ride, so I just took us to McDonald's. I'm sorry.
You know the rule. You know the rule. No one in
on.
chat knows the rule. It's just me and you. Like, you know the One Piece rule.
God.
The Elbaf rule. Oh god, that's so funny. I feel like it's only Elbaf because they've done conversations in commutes before. So
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we didn't take into consideration how fast they're moving. Like, what if they picked up Scopper and Chopper, and then in the blink of an eye, they arrive to their destination?
Yeah, we forgot to fathom the part where Luffy threw them. He threw them back and forth. Oh,
yeah. We forgot to factor in the fact that Luffy ate the Pika Pika no Mi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he Luffy actually ate Kizaru, and now he has a part of Kizaru's light speed.
You know what's also ironic too?
What's up?
Loki's line. Did TCB? I never clocked this. What did Viz say? Whose preposterous hockey is that? I guess it makes sense because it's emus technically, but like, he knows. Like, Loki knows who's here. Like, though, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I mean, like, Gunko didn't whip out this hockey though, right?
Yeah, but would it be that crazy? Like, it's like, what could be the story?
And then there's like a different person, right? Like, let's say Gunko released hockey like this, sure. But now that Emu is taking over, I'm sure Loki's like, okay, what the heck?
No, wait, I just realized this is our metric. This is the line. You remember we were saying we wanted a Jinbei panel after Gunko released it. This is the one. This guy has seen Rocks, has seen Shanks, has seen Shamrock. and he's like, whose ridiculous hockey is this? Which could mean that this hockey is even greater than Shanks, which isn't that crazy, but this is what we wanted from Jinbei. The line of like, oh my god, this hockey is unworldly, right? Like we always got that reaction from Jinbei and other characters. Like the Dory and Brogy gave it to us after Joy Boy's rope. He's like, oh my god, is
Dude,
that
that'd be
equal?
so cursed if every character did that. They just reference every character they know. Like, imagine we see, like, Marco back in Wano, and Marco is like, oh my god, that attack that Luffy did, that was greater than Primebeard. Marco sees Luffy dancing around. Oh my god, is that speed faster than Ace when he was alive?
Remember when we said we'd retranslate it for Gen Z, like the chapters, and we just like translated it like, Marco starts comparing. It's like that was like Primebeard back in his prime. Like, yeah, started doing brain rot like that.
No. Marco sees Zoro and he's like, oh my god, I heard about the battles of Shanks and Mihawk, and let me tell you, the way Zoro's moving his swords right now, that reminds me of Prime Hawk. Like,
Gibbity toilet.
Yeah. Imagine Loki does that. Like, holy hell, that hockey? Man, Rock's released that in my backside years ago. Oh, because Rock stabbed him in the back with a little knife.
I know.
He looks at Dory's hand or Brogy's hand that got stabbed by the dagger, and freaking Loki's like, oh my god, that stab was stronger than whatever Rock's did to me. Like, we just have characters reference everything. Imagine Luffy during a fight. He's like, holy hell, that attack was stronger than Crocodile in Alabasta.
Or Dory or Brogy gets stabbed and he's like, oh, takes me back to Mr. 3. And then when he
Brogy gets attacked. He's like, is this power stronger than red hair? Like, it's just references out the wazoo. That is like a timeline where if One Piece was only about power scaling and comparisons.
Yeah.
That's so cursed. Imagine like Whitebeard at Marineford. He's like, damn, this is stronger than all the holy knights at God Valley. The admirals?
Wait, hold on. That one I would have welcomed that with open arms. Please go back.
Whitebeard gets stabbed by Squard. This is what Garling did to me years ago.
Yeah, that coward, fake, strong person.
Ooh, or Whitebeard drops a line about characters he hasn't even met before. Like, imagine Whitebeard gets stabbed, and he's like, this must be what Garp feels in Hachinosu 2 years later.
This reminds me of the clash between Kaido and Mori on Wano.
Kaido gets stopped by Shanks. So this is the power that Green Bull fears. Like, it's just future events. Like, Luffy fights crocodiles. Like, Emu's gonna feel that one later.
he breaks the fourth wall. Who's Emu? Like,
yeah, imagine we get like a Captain Kuro attack, and Luffy's like, it's like I'm being whipped by a celestial dragon. Like, what the hell?
Dude. That'd be great. That'd
be so funny.
We'd still stay back and be like, Goda. Oh my god, foreshadowing. Would that be foreshadowing, or would that just be verbatim telling us the story?
I mean, you could see like Choo Choo, right, from Orangetown, and be like, "Oh my god, Choo Choo was the defender of the pet store." Goda foreshadowing again because Yamato has that mythical dog fruit, and she's the guardian of Wano. You know, people do that, man. You know, people do that.
Yeah,
Choo Choo was foreshadowing Yamato for thousands of years.
Going back to the Reversi Domi thing a little bit now that we're at the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Like do you feel that Luffy can get Reversi Domi'd?
No.
Do you feel that, because there's a character that like is odd, and like I say it's odd, but, like,
you're gonna bring up Bellamy, huh?
No, I was gonna say Moria. Is there a world where Moria is like already Reversi Domi'd? Because he's technically a human. But he has like
no,
the
I don't think
horns.
Moria's Reversi Dami. I think he's in the boat with Killingham. Just fun design.
Fun design. I feel like he's a character where Oda he set up vaguely. Like he didn't need to do anything with him, but especially now that we have his Seraphim too, it's like I feel like there's a world where Moria can't be Reversi Dami'd. And that could also be why they tried to assassinate him. Like, because we also have to remember.
Okay, wait. I don't think Moria could be Reversi Dami'd, but my reasoning is because Moria is just so cool and powerful.
Is there a world where his devil fruit counters it because he has like the shadow thing? So like his Reversi Dami is his doppelganger? Because when you look at his doppelganger, it looks like how Oda depicted the giants in this thing. Like it's the shadow, whatever. Maybe there's a world where his doppelganger, like when he flips, it's just his doppelganger, and he has full control over it. Is that a possibility?
Yeah. Just like the shadow version takes over.
Mm-hmm. And that could be giving us like context of this, which would huge stocks for my shadow theory. But like, I wasn't even thinking about that bias right there. Technically, I'm biased on that side. But like, there's a lot of weird stuff with Moria, and I always go back to the part where the Gorosei wanted to assassinate him, and there's not many. It's literally just Luffy, and him. Even Robin, they didn't want to assassinate. They want to kidnap her ass. But they literally want to assassinate Moria post Marineford. And we don't really have a full answer whether it was the devil fruit, whether it's a thing, but they already had his devil fruit. I mean, we don't know his Seraphim, what power the Seraphim has, but I would imagine it's the same power. Which, if it's the same power, that's crazy, because then that would kind of take away from... If it's the same power, why would you give a counter to Emu's power like any air to breathe? You'd smother that, keep it away from the light of
we
day.
say that all the time with the D-Clan, right? The minute you see Monkey D. Luffy in the East Blue with the bounty of 30 million and no mastery of the Devil Fruit, why don't you just kill him?
That's true.
Why give him agency?
Like, they literally have Garp, right? Right. The reality is that Garp's existence is, the greatest counter to like so many like genociding D-Clan things. Like, why didn't they? They literally have one in their ranks. Why is that a thing? Jaguar D. Sol.
Dude, if I was the world government, man, I'd be so smart about it. Jaguar D. Sol joins the military, joins the Navy. I'm poisoning his coffee. He's dead tomorrow. Like, I'm just killing him, dude. F it.
I forgot Saul's D-Clan. He could get Reversi Dami'd. But he might be the example that we get that doesn't get Reversi Dami'd. He's there. He's literally right there.
Yeah, it could be because he's D-Clan, he doesn't get reversied.
Yeah. So like it's Oda might avoid it. If Oda avoids showing us Saul, because like why would you avoid Saul? Is it because he's down for the count? But like I feel like it's like a plague. It'll just spread. And if Oda avoids Saul, that could be an interesting way for him to avoid the D-Clan thing. So I forgot that Saul's a D-Clan, and he's really pivotal to a huge component to this whole Reversi Dami thing in the D-Clan. Because if he can't be Reversi Dami, then I would say that's D-Clan.
Yeah, maybe it's like the D-Clan stands for demon, the demon clan. So they can't be Reversi Dami because of that. They're already demons.
Sigh, that is in all my years of One Piece. Demon for D-Clan, the D-Man clan. That's a Psy original right there.
There we go. Yeah, I'm sure it's your guys' first time hearing that theory. No, that's like been a popular one for a long time. But it also spawned like a lot of memes though of like, oh, here's Demon Luffy in gear 57. And he's got like red eyes and horns, and he's got like red aura, and like Luffy's sitting on a demonic throne.
Wait, why 57? Is 57 I thought you were gonna say gear 66.
Oh no, I just made up a random number.
Oh, gear 66 would be dope because gear 6 is the next one. And then when you put G and 6 together, it makes 66.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah, Route 66, brother. All routes lead to Route 66. Something like that.
Something like that. But with that being said, though, guys, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it as per usual. Appreciate you guys for joining us on the Parcast this week. There is a break, so, it'll be a while until we come back. But we will be back nonetheless.
With the 50-50.
With the 50-50 podcast and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully you guys
Darn.
enjoyed your time here. Let us know who you think Mosa is. Breaking news from Dawn and Dusk. They do say that Mosa gives off a very feminine energy in their speech. So, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a booty call.
Maybe. We have Mosa as Shirahoshi.
The Tinder swindler.
Yeah. We'll catch you guys later. Peace out.